Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Ellie Kempster.
And me, Liam Under. Wait, what?
Oh, good. We're doing this, are we? Okay, good. What, Liam?
So with you, what was that?
With me, Ellie Kempster.
So that's different.
Yep.
What's going on there then?
What is this weird act you're doing, listeners?
Yeah, we've got some news.
Well, you haven't.
Well,
fuck off.
The podcast, the we of the podcast.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're not stealing my thunder.
No, you've got some news.
I'm transgender.
What does that mean?
Okay. Why are we doing it in this weird? Why are you like?
No, I'm kind of like.
It sounds like an educational video.
I'm filling in the role of the listener. I'm sort of verbalising what they might be thinking.
Oh God, yeah. I'm sure they're all sitting there going, "Oh, that's interesting. What is that?"
Yeah, for those at the back of the class that maybe are thinking that.
Yeah, it basically means that whilst when I was born, a doctor said, "Oh look, that's a boy."
Like, so you come out of your mother probably crying.
And I'm not blaming the doctor. It's
Yeah, so the doctor, they give you a little spank, don't they, when you come out?
To figure out if you're a boy or a girl.
No, they just do that regardless. I don't
think they spank you and go, oh.
Yeah, no, they spank you, and depending on how you react, if you cry more, they go, oh, this is a girl.
That can't be true, because they'd have figured it out a lot earlier.
That's true. So basically the doctor looked at your genitalia.
Yeah, and went, that's a boy.
Made an assumption.
Yeah, a fair one. A lot, 99% of the time he's probably right.
Yeah, it was a well-educated guess. But then you grew up and you went, actually, doctor.
Yeah, you got that one fucking wrong, didn't you, mate?
And now, so
I'm fixing that shit.
Yeah, so you were a boy, but now you're a girl.
Let's not get too into, I could, yeah, sure. That's the layman's way of thinking about it, Liam.
Yeah. But
that's the easy way of thinking. You've picked easy mode.
Yeah, what's the more complicated way?
Well, I've always been a girl, just we didn't realise.
Okay, that also makes sense.
Nothing, yeah, because the way I've tried to sort of explain it to people, that I think makes the most sense to me, is imagine that there's a load of switches inside you, right?
Okay.
And if they're all down, you're a boy, and if they're all up, you're a girl.
What if they're just broken?
Or yours are broken. You get a Liam.
Okay, cool.
So imagine that one of my switches was the wrong way, so that was the boy switch, and that made my body go, cool, we got the boy switch, let's do this.
Let's make a penis.
Exactly. Yeah. And then all the other switches were switched to the girl mode, so my brain and all that stuff grew up the right way, but because the one switch that was the physical part, which is unfortunately the most obvious part, was switched to boy mode, it makes it really difficult to figure that out.
Okay. But everyone starts as a girl, don't they? And then...
you start
in the womb.
I mean, I think you start technically. I don't think you start as a girl, do you? You start as like genderless, maybe.
Possibly.
I don't know. It's all. I don't fucking know, Liam. I'm not a scientist.
No, I've written a load of questions, but I'm also aware that you've probably been asked quite a few questions about this.
Oh, tons, Liam. Let
revelation.
me just check this not pre-prepared list.
Yeah, we haven't discussed this beforehand. These questions have not been pre-approved.
No, none of this is planned. I've shocked Liam to the core.
Yeah, no,
you're taking it very well.
Yeah, well, it's the only way to react, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been doing this podcast for nearly 2 years now. The next episode is our 2-year anniversary, and we're still learning new things about each other.
That's true.
So that's good, if anything.
Yeah.
What's like some of the obvious questions that you've been asked?
Does this mean you want guys to bone you? No.
See, I'm a bit confused by that because...
Go on.
Well, your gender, does that affect... How much does that affect your, like, desire to have things inside you? Like male penises?
Sorry. I don't know what you're trying to say. Are you questioning whether... I mean... You're getting into some really murky waters here, Liam. Are you now? Are we talking about transgender people, or are we just going down what are gay people?
No. So what I'm saying is, right? Yes. You realizing that you're the wrong gender.
Yeah.
How does that affect your sexuality? Or like, surely it doesn't, right? But I don't know.
Got you. No. So it doesn't theoretically, and there's a big debate on whether going on hormones, which we'll talk about in a bit, Liam.
Okay. I'm excited.
There's a debate about whether that actually impacts it or not. And it's all very confusing is the answer. And to be fair, the other answer that I give people to this sort of question is I go, let's be honest, if I do figure out, if I sort of, a year down the line go, actually, I do want a penis inside of me.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the biggest shocking news that I've done. I think if at that point someone's like, whoa, this is too much, I'll turn around and be like, really? You should have jumped off this train a long time ago.
Yeah. But currently, you're still attracted to females, but now you're gay.
Why you Yeah, I'm attracted to women.
Yeah.
Which technically makes me gay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not technically, it does make me gay.
Yeah, exactly. But so the hormone replacement therapy stuff, that can affect your sexuality, can it?
Apparently, there's like a big debate on whether it actually does or whether people have just been repressing it as part of the...
Oh, right, so it's kind of like... Yeah, so it's like, a 2-for-1 with some people where they're like...
Yeah, I think there are people that, immediately after realising are suddenly like, oh, good lord, I also want penises now.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that once they're on the hormones are like, oh, I don't really find women attractive anymore.
Yeah,
so,
fair enough.
It's, and to be fair, I'm saying this, I realise that I'm not being super supportive here because I'm saying it all like about penises, but obviously there are trans men as well.
Yeah. But we only know one side of this coin at the moment, don't we?
Yeah.
Have you got any other questions you've been asked a lot?
I don't know why I put my phone down because I knew this was happening, so I don't know why I just closed that. Number 2, Liam. Not on a list. I've not got a list. It's all just...
This is just freestyling this.
Freestyle, just off the top of my head. Do we need to start calling you she/her? Yes.
Yes, because you're now a woman. Well, you've always been a woman, but now we also all know that you're a woman.
You're catching up, Liam.
See? I'm just assuming the role of the listener here.
Exactly. Perfect, mate. I mean, this question's irrelevant now, but what about the name Jack? Are you going to call yourself Jack or Jackie or Jacqueline? No, it's Ellie.
It's Ellie.
That was obvious.
It annoys me, though.
Go on, why?
You can pick, like, any name, right?
Yeah, there's not, like, a fucking book. We don't, like, assign them. When you come out, they don't go, right, you're a Jocelyn.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, why would you pick the name Ellie, which is just one letter away from being a palindrome? Why would you not just have a palindrome name like Elle or Hannah?
Oh, got you. That's what annoys you.
It's so close.
Well, now that you've told me that, I'm even more happy with it.
I don't like it.
That's a shame.
I prefer Elle, to be honest, if I got to choose your name.
You don't?
Yeah. How did you pick the name Ellie?
I don't really know.
Alright, well, I'll tick that one off my list.
It's just a name that I'd been using on stuff when I made, like, female characters in games.
Yeah.
It was just a name that's always been knocking around in there, and then I was like, I like it, it's a good name.
Nothing to do with Ellie Kemper?
Nope.
Who is an actress from The Office and the other thing.
Yeah, I know who she is.
The Unbreakable Kimmy something? Schmidt.
Yep, I really like her, she's a good actress. No, I didn't realise how close my name was to hers until after you pointed it out.
Okay, well, you don't really know actors and actresses, do you?
I do, I actually do know her. She's
but you know.
She's good.
Yeah, alright, next question that's not on your list.
Does this mean you're going to suddenly be into rom-coms, getting makeovers, and gossiping?
You've always been into rom-coms.
Liam, the answer I've written to this is no, I'll still be me, just a happier version of me. I'm still going to be weirdly into anime, The Bachelor, and video games, and rom-coms, so that was a bad example.
Yeah, but what about makeup and stuff?
What about them?
Well, no, because I guess, right, up until a certain point, up until your realisation, it probably wasn't something that you really considered a lot. Now, is that a new consideration for you?
Let me tell you, Liam, right? Yeah. This is coming from someone who has had a couple of sort of lessons from friends on how this works. I always thought it was really simple, right? Like, I know that the complex stuff would be complex. I was like, oh yeah, obviously, when they're going for a full face of makeup, obviously it's going to take a lot of work.
Like contouring and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't even touch on that, right?
Yeah.
On the basics, Liam, when dudes, and I am guilty of having thought like this, being like, oh, I much prefer girls when they've got, not much makeup on. Yeah. They still have you have to put a lot of makeup on.
Right.
I think it's all a lie, mate. I think no one realises.
Yeah, but so this is what I'm saying. Like, are you were saying that you're always going to be into the stuff you were into, but now there could be new interests as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously I'm still going to grow as a person. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be like into makeup is
You
in
could,
like...
you could become like a makeup guru on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I don't think I'm going to be the next Zoella.
Well, she's in trouble lately, isn't she?
Oh, is she?
Did you not know about this?
No.
She did an advent calendar.
Okay.
That she's selling through Boots, charging 50 quid for it.
Right.
And someone did like some research into it and found out that you could basically make all of the components that go into it, and you get just tat out of it, like a fluffy key ring, absolute nonsense basically. They figured out that you could basically make it, buy all of the things separately for something like £22, and that's not even factoring in the fact that she would have bought all this stuff wholesale, so it would have been even cheaper for her.
Yeah.
And there's like a huge backlash over how she's basically ripping off her fans, because the other thing is, obviously, you're a fan of hers, you have an advent calendar, you don't know what you're going to get each day.
Yeah, that's dodgy.
Yeah, anyway, this is a sidetrack. On to the main event, which is you.
Yep.
Stealing all of the thunder in this episode.
Hell yeah.
There's a theory going around that you're now going to become the fan favourite.
Who is putting forward that theory?
Just regular
Is it you?
listeners.
Is it just you being paranoid?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're going to sympathise and be like, oh, we didn't like Jack, but Ellie is great.
Well, I'm not going to change that much. I'm still a moody bitch, so...
Yeah. Although now we can call you bitch, which we never really did before.
Yeah, that's good. It's opened up a whole new range of insults.
Yes. Oh, it has. Any other questions?
So, like, what does any of this even mean? What's going to happen?
We should have probably started with that one.
Probably. I've sort of done the what does this even mean?
Yeah, it means you're now a she/her.
Yep. The what's going to happen is I've already started hormones. I'm on that. I've been on that shit for like a month and a half.
How's that going?
It's good.
What does it entail?
So basically, I take 2 types of medication. One of them lowers the testosterone in your body.
But is it like pills or injections?
I've got a pill and a patch.
Okay.
And that one of them lowers the testosterone, one of them raises estrogen.
Yep.
So that, and that'll just make some shit start changing then.
What does it change?
Skin gets smoother. Fat redistributes to different areas.
So that means you get
grow.
boobs. Yeah.
No, that's the second step.
Oh.
Boobs grow. Third step.
What about
boobs grow?
Lack of hair?
Can be a lot, but more likely just a small amount.
What, boobs?
Yeah.
Okay. What about like facial hair?
That doesn't change. You have to. Well, it was grow slower, but you
Okay.
have to get hair removal done on it.
Okay.
Which I've done. I've sort of started, but I need to properly start.
What does that mean?
But all this stuff is very expensive.
Yeah. What? So is that it with the hormone replacement stuff? That's all it does.
Well, no, it doesn't. There's a lot of other stuff. I mean, if you're interested, go look it up, listeners.
Does it change the way you think? Because I know, like, when you go through school and stuff, right? I remember they always used to do reports of like, oh, girls are at this kind of mental age, at this physical age, and boys like this, or they'll be like, oh, girls do better in exams than boys, or some sort of weird like.
Yeah, but that's all just that's all statistics, isn't it? Because there's crossover there. It's not like.
So it doesn't change the way you think.
I don't think it will. I don't know. Maybe. No, it won't. I'm not going to be a different person.
You're not just going to suddenly get distracted by shiny things.
I was always distracted by shiny things.
Fair enough.
I call myself the magpie of gaming, Liam.
Yeah, but I meant like shiny things like jewellery.
Actual shiny things. Well,
Yeah.
like an actual magpie.
Yeah, like suddenly you'll be walking down the high street and there'll be a shop with diamonds in the window, and suddenly you're like, oh.
But Liam,
get some new earrings.
What if I've always been distracted by that stuff, but I was aware that it would make me seem weird?
Well, no, because I've never seen you wear jewellery, and you can wear male jewellery.
Yeah, but then you're wearing male jewellery.
Yeah.
So think about if you were, right, getting a necklace. Let's say you were into a necklace, right? Because I used to wear a chain.
Okay.
Back in the 90s, Liam.
Yeah, when it was cool.
Or the early noughties, even.
And you had like the baggy jeans, I imagine.
Yep, baggy jeans, hoodie, and my chain necklace.
Did you have a skateboard?
I owned a skateboard. I couldn't skate.
Really?
Yeah, I never learned to skate. It scared me.
Makes sense.
Didn't want to fall off and get hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's right. So say you've got that. You're like, I'm going to wear a necklace. And then you go to a store and you've got the choice, Liam, of a chain necklace and a sparkly, shiny diamond one, right?
Yeah.
You'd probably pick the chain one.
Yeah.
Right? So I would have been interested in the diamond one, but then there's a whole social thing of being like, well, boys aren't allowed to wear that, which is ridiculous because everyone should be allowed to wear whatever the fuck they want. We shouldn't even give a shit about any of the whatever gender stuff. I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just an interesting question, Liam. You know.
Okay.
I sort of derailed myself there and got confused.
Yeah. So after like you breaking this huge news about 15 minutes ago, I wrote down some questions.
Oh yeah. You've definitely not known for months.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Kat's gonna be shook.
Oh god, yeah. How are you gonna break it to her?
Not.
Just let her listen to this.
No, I'm just gonna wait until you show up in like a dress and diamond earrings and a shiny necklace, and then just say, "Oh yeah, I meant to tell you."
Nice, good.
So I have some actual questions.
Okay.
I've asked you some of them already, so I'm just ticking those off. Have I asked you like what are the stages of transitioning?
Well, it depends what you mean. Yeah, I mean, there's not really stages. It's sort of like hormones and going into full time when you've just fully swapped.
Yeah, but I mean, So there's definitely stages with like So there's the whole like you coming out stage, which is what we're currently doing now. Yeah, but that sort of
all just blurs together. No, I'm past the coming out stage.
No, I mean we're literally doing it now on the podcast for the listeners.
Well, yeah, no, for the listeners are just discovering it, but I've been out to everyone for quite a while, Liam. I'm going to drop the illusion here.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So that's like a stage, if you will.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So this is what I mean, right? The stages then blur together because surely if there was a logical like timeline of it, it would be coming out hormones.
Yeah.
Full time.
What does full time mean?
Just living. So I still wear sort of boyish clothes to work and stuff. So I'm not living, and at work I'm still Jack.
Okay, but work are aware.
My boss is aware.
Okay.
But also, if work do find out, they can't do anything about it, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and they might listen to this.
That would be a good way for them to find out.
It would. So then it's full time, like the last kind of, if we're going to say stages.
No, but there's not stages. Stop saying stages. That's what I'm saying to you. Is there aren't stages?
Okay, steps.
No, because it's not that simple. You go through it. You're going on a process. It's a whole long process.
Yeah, there we go. And processes are broken down into.
No, there aren't steps.
Right,
there are things you do within it, but they're not necessarily like someone could start hormones without coming out.
Okay, but there's also if we are to just very, very quickly, stages do blur together, blah blah blah. But let's break it down into you've got the coming out, the hormone stuff, like you said, the full time stuff, right?
Yeah.
What about surgery?
Surgery's got nothing to do with it. No, because you don't have to have the surgery.
Is it something that you
got nothing to do with the listeners? No offense, listeners. I love you all. You're all great, but it's got shit all to do with you.
So if you get a boob job, we can't talk about it.
Oh no, because I'll probably talk about that because that'd be fairly obvious. And and if I get the surgery, I might end up talking about it. But
when we say surgery, we're talking about like, is it an inversion?
There's different methods.
Is there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You learn something new every day.
Next question. What was it like coming out to your family?
It's fine. I mean, it was nerve-wracking.
Yeah. I mean, so right, let's just backtrack a little bit here. If anyone's listening to this who might be kind of in a similar situation to where you were, say, maybe a year ago,
yeah,
is there an answer that would maybe help them that you could give beyond fine?
Well, it depends. You've got, I think it's better to come out because
you don't want to live a lie.
Yeah, and you can do... I mean, you're not living a lie. I think all that stuff is problematic.
Yeah.
The idea of living a lie, like... It's like the whole idea of... Like, people call your old name your dead name and stuff, which I get. I get why people call it that. But... And people talk about, mourning the loss of, like, a son and gaining a daughter and all that. And I'm like, well, no, you're still the same person. I think people take a while to realise that. Like,
Jack hasn't died, just evolved like a Pokemon.
Exactly. I turned from Jack. I got to level 26...
You got to level 7. You were probably a Caterpie. Now you're a Metapod. Which is complimentary because it means you've got a Butterfree coming.
Thanks, Liam.
That's alright.
You're like a Venonat.
That's mean.
Why? You turn into Venomoth?
Still mean. I don't like moths.
Oh, I don't like moths either.
There we go then. But yeah, so it's more of an evolution.
Yeah.
Than a death.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's all about your situation, right? If someone's out there and they're like, I know that if I come out to my parents, like, because for me, I knew my parents would be accepting.
Yeah.
I knew they wouldn't throw me out.
Yeah.
If you are in a situation where you are, like, say you're at high school and you're not self-supporting yet, and you live at home, and you know your parents will throw you out if you come out, it's up to you to make the call on whether you can, you might be able to find someone that you can go and live with or something.
Yeah.
But if not, Don't just do it because people are saying you have to, because you don't. You can do all this when you want. It's all up to you. You know, be safe is the important thing. Don't come out if you're going to get thrown out on the streets.
Yeah.
But also, don't let that stop you from trying to transition still.
Yeah. I think that's good advice.
Thank you.
When did you realise?
I properly realised last Christmas.
Okay, so was there like a specific thing? Was there like a straw that broke the camel's back? Or like, what was that realisation process like?
So me and my sister watched a documentary, I can't remember what one, about transgender kids. I think it was on like Channel 4 or something.
Okay.
Which is an English TV channel for all you Americans. Or
if they're in other countries.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, we watched that, and afterwards, I was like, or during, I was like, oh, some of the shit these kids are saying is how I definitely feel. So
is there any examples you can remember?
Not specifically. I think it was just stuff like them being like, oh, you know, I've always felt... I don't know, it's hard to explain. Because the thing is, right, for someone who isn't trans, and the word for that is cis, it's not an offensive word. Some people on the internet think it is.
What does cis mean?
It's cisgender, which means you are born in the right body, you're the correct gender. It's literally not an insult. I don't know why some people think it's an insult. It is the same as transgender, just the opposite.
Okay.
It's just a word that describes that, your gender identity.
Yeah.
Right? So for a cis person, you cannot conceive of what it's like to be transgender.
Yeah.
So it is really difficult to explain what it feels like, because I also don't know what it's like to be cis.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like, this is the thing. So after watching that documentary and being like, oh shit, a lot of that stuff I feel like I connect with and I understand, I then went online and I was watching YouTube videos by a couple of trans YouTubers who were really good, and I was like, oh cool, I also understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh god, maybe I'm trans. So I spent about a month researching it and sort of trying to figure it out and like looking back on how I'd felt as a kid, and just bit by bit, like I spent ages being like, there's not obvious signs, because some people they talk about how, you know, oh, I looked back and as a kid I used to just wear dresses all the time and say to my mum, I'm going to be a mum, or vice versa if you're a trans guy.
Yeah.
I didn't have that particularly, but as I looked back on my past more and more, like more obvious things sort of were there. Like the main one that I remember and have used as like I felt like this since I can remember.
Yeah.
Is I remember being a kid and getting this weird little like wooden spindle thing, and one of my parents maybe, or a family friend saying, oh, if you put that under your pillow when you go to sleep, you'll be able to make a wish and you get a wish. And I was like, oh, awesome, cool. And I remember telling people that I was wishing that I could be Batman.
Right.
But in reality, I was wishing that I would wake up as a girl and no one would remember that I had been a boy.
Okay. At what age was this?
This is like, must be like, 8, maybe younger.
Yeah.
So like, it had always been there, and there was just, but I think part of it is, I think it's getting better now, but when we were kids, right, I can remember people being mean about transgender people.
Okay.
And like, so like the big one that I think a lot of people wouldn't realise, and I didn't realise, and I still like the film, but like realising I'm transgender and like looking back on it, I'm like, oh shit, that film is kind of problematic, is Ace Ventura, which is one of my favourite films. I love Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
But that whole thing called Is Einhorn, right? That's really fucking problematic. And that was like, that's not them being deliberately...
That's just the way it was.
But that's not okay. But, do you know what I mean? So like, there's like a layer of the 90s being like that.
I definitely
which made it really hard for me to go, oh, well, I'm transgender, because you're watching these big films being like, haha, look at the guy who's a girl.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think like in the last like 10, 20 years, there's been a much greater push for education and awareness of things like transgender, things like homosexuality. Those sort of things are a lot more accepted now than when we were kids, like, even, which would have been 20 years ago.
Yeah, and then fucking Trump got elected, didn't he? And that all went out the fucking window in America.
Yep.
But anyway,
we don't do politics.
I do.
No, you've always told me off when I try and make the show political.
Yeah, but that was before it turned out there was a dude who's in power in America who literally despises me.
Don't go to America.
I'm not going to. Fuck America. I love all you Americans, but your country is not okay with me.
No. Well, not the country, just, all of the people in charge.
The country as a political entity is not okay with me.
Yeah. So, like, Is it something that you've almost like, you were saying you had this thing when you was 8 years old? Was
Yeah.
it almost like subconsciously were you ignoring it, or did you almost like forget that? Like,
No, I've always had it.
yeah.
So like that's just an example from when I was 8. There's a lot more
So-
shit that
so-
I've done since then.
So was this documentary was like the catalyst for you?
Yeah, this was
realizing.
like, so basically the way it not feels, the way I've explained it to people is that watching that documentary and seeing someone literally just be transgender and people being like, yeah, that's like a medical thing that there is a solution to this problem, and that is transition. That was like me. That was like someone saying to me, it's okay to be that.
So if you hadn't have seen that documentary,
I would have still. So from what I've seen online, there's a lot of people that are like 40 and realizing.
yeah,
And from the sounds of it, it either builds up and builds up and builds up, and eventually you're just going to crack anyway,
yeah,
and suddenly be like, oh God, what have I done? Why have I waited so long?
yeah.
I mean, that's it. I don't think there's another option. I think that tends to be what happens. There might be
Fair.
people that suppress it their entire lives.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, it's not necessarily conducive for a healthy lifestyle, let's say.
No, because there's a lot of like, well, not a lot, but I guess there's certain kids that kind of just know.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think there's different not levels of it, but there's like,
There's a gradient.
I guess it's, again, if you go back to my not particularly great metaphor of the switches in the brain, right?
Yeah,
Maybe some of their physical switches were more flipped, and maybe some of the other switches in me that made my body grow. It's just all society, it's everything just combined. People in different situations get different chances and realise different things.
fair enough. So you said that you've started hormone replacement therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Since starting it, have you noticed any changes?
Yes. I'm more emotional.
You were already very emotional.
Exactly. That was the bit I was like, oh good lord, can I get more emotional? The answer is yes. I nearly cried on the train the other day, Liam. That was bad.
Is it the same sort of things that are triggering you, or were they different triggers for the
Yeah, no,
emotions?
it's all the same things, but it's now like more sensitive to it. So like,
Yeah.
before I'd have seen something sad in a TV show and been like, right, hold that shit together.
Now you're just like
I'm like
blubbering
on the verge
mess.
of tears.
Any others?
Nothing particularly major. I'm only a month and 2 weeks in,
Yeah.
so it's all minor stuff. I think body hair is starting to go a little bit finer. That's something that happens.
Have you already kind of? Is it still too early, or have you already like within yourself? Do you feel happier?
Oh, I definitely feel happier, and I've had
That's
people
good.
tell me that I seem more confident and happy.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, no, I'm. Yeah.
What's one thing you wish people understood about your desire to transition?
That it's fine. I don't know why people have an issue with it.
But you said like so far no one really has had an issue with
They
it.
haven't, but I've seen, there's no one that I have told, which is a lot of my close friends and family who are all totally accepting. But there's a lot of stuff, like we were saying, America with the people in power.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Do you think
reading
it's
about
just because they don't know? Is it just ignorance?
Yeah, I don't know. I assume so. I guess so. But even then, it's such a weird attitude to me. But then, even before I realised I was trans, I was a very open person. Like, I've never understood why people have an issue with gay people or lesbians. I've never understood that.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why anyone hates anyone. Like, to me, it's a lot better if we all just fucking leave everyone else alone and just let people do whatever. But, not whatever. Don't murder people. Jesus.
Yeah. Do whatever as long as it doesn't hurt someone else.
Yeah, that's. I think, have I said my rule on the show before? That my rule is do whatever you want, so long as you aren't hurting anyone.
Yeah. I think that's a good rule that a lot of people should have.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you only have to do whatever you want, you end up hurting other people, and then you're not helping. You're just being a dick.
Yeah.
If you add in the without hurting anyone else, then that sort of adds an element of morality to it, which is fine.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Women's clothing. That's the next one that's on my list. Have you tried that? Have you worn any? What was it like?
It's good.
What did you try?
I'm not going to particularly list it for you, Liam.
Was it like
lingerie?
lingerie?
I've got jeans.
Okay. Do they have like the word juicy on the rear?
Yeah, it says hot stuff.
Excellent. What about like bras? Is that something that you're going to have to figure out?
I mean, I will have to once the boob growth starts.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you don't have a lot of experience with those from either side of it.
Wow, thanks, Liam.
That's all right.
Move on.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying me, for example, I'm good at the undoing, not so much the doing back up.
How often are you having to do backup?
Never. That's what I mean.
Okay, I was going to... But then how do you know you're bad at it? You might be good at it.
Never had to do it, and most things I've never had to do, I'm pretty bad at.
You should find out. You should say to Cat, let me put this bra back on you.
I think that might send her mixed messages.
Time to get the clothes off, and then see if I can put them back on successfully.
Let's time it. Make a game. I've only got one last question.
Go on.
This is a big one.
Have you saved your most offensive one for last?
Not the most offensive, but I think the one that the most people are wondering.
Okay.
When are you getting a pay cut?
Very good, Liam.
Thank you. I just wanted to, have a bit of time for that to sink in for the audience. The slow ones just catching up, because obviously women get paid less than men.
Yeah, very good. You've explained the joke. That's what they always say in comedy. Always explain the joke.
Always, because if people aren't laughing, it's because they don't understand it.
So just explain it until they do.
Yeah.
Got you.
But yeah, so that's basically what's been happening with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do for catching up with, but unless you're announcing that you've, I don't know, grown a second human out of your ass, I don't think you're going to beat me.
That hasn't happened, and yeah, that's not going to happen. Right, well, I'm Liam Underwood.
What have you been up to, Liam?
No, we're not at that stage yet. I'm Liam Underwood, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 2.
Ooh.
But first, before all that, it's time for catching up with Ellie and Liam. Also, this is a side note to both you and our listeners. If I slip up with the name, sorry.
If you slip up with the name, in the editing, I'm gonna play an air horn very loudly over you.
Perfect. If any of our listeners have any questions for you, do you want them to email, tweet?
Email the show.
Cool. And then
at nerdornerd@gmail.com.
Yeah, and also if you want to send an email but you don't necessarily want it read out, let us know, and we'll
just
respect
put
that.
On the email, don't read this out loud.
Yeah. We won't do that.
How about that penis though? And I'll answer you.
I genuinely thought that it got cut off, and then you could keep it in a jar for Halloween.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, no, I've learnt that since, but that's what I thought.
They just chop it off,
and then they do remolding with what's left.
Oh, Jesus, Liam.
The stump.
Oh, yeah, all right, let's move on.
It was Halloween.
Oh, spooky.
So I decided, I had this brilliant idea, right, that in October, I was essentially going to watch 31 horror movies. I knew I was busy, so I knew I couldn't do one a day, but I wanted to try and do, throughout October, a total of 31.
Yeah, got you.
I did 25.
Oh, it's a little bit like the film list on the show, Liam. You're sort of just failing.
Sort of. Here's the other thing, though. I also had this goal in mind. So, since about 2013, well, even longer than that, I've had this book, which is called 101 Horror Movies You Must See Before You Die. Okay. And I thought I had about 28 still to go.
Oh, so were you going to try and do those?
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, you didn't do all 28, we know that, but did you get any of them?
I got some. So at the stage I'm currently at now, I have in my life seen all of the films in this 101 horror movies. But,
okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm also doing it on this website called Letterboxd that lets you log the movies you watch and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 left to log on there that I haven't watched since starting my Letterboxd account on January the 1st, 2013.
Which ones? Which films?
The Shining, which I'm saving till last, and Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, so it's 2 good ones.
Yeah, which I've seen before.
Yeah.
I was just deliberately kind of saving them because I wanted to get some of the ones that I either hadn't seen or some of the subtitle ones. I was trying to get those out of the way.
Is Rec on there? Or was it before Rec?
I think this book came out before Rec really kind of got attention.
Fair enough.
Audition was on there, which was one of the more recent ones I've done.
I haven't seen that one, but you've told me to watch it before.
Yeah, it's alright.
Oh, really? I thought you told me to watch it before.
Yeah, you should watch it, but it's only alright.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've been doing that. Basically, I didn't get anywhere near done, so we're on the 16th of November when we're recording this, and we are recording this very late. Sorry about that.
Super late.
But, Ellie's been going through some stuff, and that's why it's so late.
I mean, it's just work. You made it sound like it was tied into the transgender thing. It's not.
No. So yeah, I'm hoping to get that done in the next week or so.
Cool.
And that'll just be a nice little personal achievement. It means I can die.
Well, don't do that.
Well, no, because it's 101 horror movies you must see before you die. So once I've seen them all, ready.
Can you imagine how pissed you'd be if you died before seeing the last? Yeah.
I know. Well, I was saying this to Kat, and she was like, "Well, isn't there a book that's 1,001 movies to see before you die?" And there is, but that's excessive, isn't it?
Why did Kat tell you that? Because I feel like that's the kind of thing that's going to gnaw at your mind. Like now you're being all flippant, like, oh, that's too many. But I know.
Look, I'm still going to try and do it.
You lie awake as 3 a.m. rolls around and you just stare at the ceiling thinking, I could watch all 1,001.
Oh, yeah, I will try and do it. I think at my last count, I was at maybe like 200 and something.
Jesus, you've got a long way to go.
Exactly, you know? I ain't dying anytime soon.
No, cool. Good.
But yeah, so I was doing that. Halloween. We didn't really do anything on that the actual day.
Did you get any trick-or-treaters? Have you been... Is this the first Halloween you've had at the new house?
Yeah, and we didn't get a single trick-or-treater.
Oh, really?
Yep, not a one.
We didn't either. I saw a lot when I was walking home from work, but we didn't get any. Apparently, my mum has spoken to people in our street and said, like, I see them, so it's weird that we don't get any. And apparently they specifically go to houses that have decorations up, which is quite a good way of doing it.
I think there's that, and also, I think they only go to, like, friends' houses. Like, people
people
that
definitely
they
go
know.
to strangers.
Huh?
People definitely go to strangers' houses.
Maybe. I mean, I know when we lived in the old place, we had a year where we put decorations up. We did pumpkins and stuff.
Yeah.
We still only got, I think, a total of maybe 3.
Yeah, but that's because parents see you, Liam, and they're like, stay away from that house.
No, what happened is I made Kat answer the door because I did the first one, realised you had to interact with children, which is something that I hate doing, and then I was like, oh, this was a huge mistake. Kat, you have to answer the door now.
Oh, Liam.
I've just looked it up, and I've seen 209 of the 1,001 movies.
Yeah, that's not very good, mate.
17%-ish.
You need to get on that.
Well, this that I'm looking at. So they release this book each year, and they like swap like 5 to 10 each year. Like they'll take 5 to 10 out and put like some newer releases in.
That's a bit weird. How does that work?
So basically, someone's collated a list of all of the editions, which is a total of 1,199 films now.
Yeah, that's the list you got to do.
Yeah, so I've done 17% of that.
Fair enough.
So, you know.
Speed up.
Well, let's get through the 101 horror movies first.
All right, yeah, fair point.
So that was Halloween, which was just a real, like, no-show.
Yep.
Then it was Kat's birthday.
What did you do for Kat's birthday, Liam?
We went out with her family the night before to our local Chinese place, where we took you when you came to visit.
Yep.
Same waitress.
Yep.
Yeah, she's delightful. She was asking about you.
No, she wasn't.
You don't know that.
No, I do.
She went, where's your weird specky friend?
Specky?
Yeah.
The fuck does that mean?
Glasses.
Why would she say specky? It sounds racist.
I don't think she's racist, let's make that clear.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not accusing the waitress of being racist. It just sounds like a racial slur.
Yeah, no, she was like, where's your weird little friend? And we were like, oh, she's not with us. And she was like, she? And we were like, oh, listen to the new episode of Nerd on Nerd, everything will be explained.
New listener, great.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we went there. Oh, the food is just so good.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, so we did that. And then on the actual birthday itself, Kat just sort of went into town with her mum. And then that night, we were going to go to the Mexican place, but Kat decided she just wanted to put her tracksuit on and not go out. So we ordered pizza and watched a couple of films.
Yeah, and then I assume you guys went to bed?
Full of pizza.
Hell yeah. The sexiest of foods.
We watched Creep 2.
The sexiest of films, I assume.
Well, you know how it has Mark Duplass in it?
Yeah.
There's a scene where he strips off and he's literally just stood in front of the camera naked for like a solid 20 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, so any listeners, and yourself, if you're wondering what Mark Duplass looks like naked, Creep 2 will answer that wondering.
Can you give me a out of 10, but about him being naked?
No?
No?
I don't even know how you would begin rating that.
Fair enough.
Like girth, size, length.
Well,
I
just
don't know.
in general, Liam.
Yeah,
in
general, hair. Like, is hairy nipples a good or bad thing? I don't know. I'm biased.
Are you biased to yes?
Yeah.
You love a bit of hair.
Well, I'm biased based on my own body type, so I would say that's good because I would hope that other people would think it's good.
Got you. I see what you're saying. Liam.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think Kat was expecting to see Mark Duplass's penis on her birthday, but you never know. Birthdays are a time. Birthdays are a time for treats. That's what I did since we
Did you
spoke
get her
last.
anything, Liam? Did you get her anything nice?
Yeah. So, here's the thing, right? I got.
I know in the
her
past you've done quite extravagant presents.
nothing too extravagant.
I mean, didn't you pre-book the Harry Potter musical and do
Yeah,
a day of Harry
that
Potter?
was like a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
We did the
pretty-
Harry Potter day. That was really good. This year,
Yeah.
we're going skiing next year, so I got her like a nice ski jacket, and a couple of like little odds and ends.
Fair enough.
But we did a special on Won't Grow Up. Go look that up on YouTube, where we talk about birthdays. We were going to do. Someone requested that Kat does like a birthday haul, like what she got. But she felt uncomfortable. She felt that was too bragging. So
Yeah, I mean, calm down, Kat. I don't want to know.
exactly. So we just spoke about birthdays in general, like good birthday memories and that sort of thing. So go check
enough.
that out. Part of the not a network.
Yeah, not a network.
That's it. See, I'm good
We
at
are
this,
a network.
like this cross promotion plugging.
You're
all that
doing
sort of
really
stuff.
well, mate.
Yeah. Wait for Into the Asylum coming sometime.
Soon.
Well, let's not say that.
Well,
What have you been up to?
went to a wedding in Wales.
Oh yeah,
That was good.
I've never been to Wales. What's it like?
Well, my brother was disappointed because he said, you're going to Wales.
Yeah.
There were two things he wanted to see.
Dragons.
No, sheep
Oh okay.
and rain, because he was convinced that in Wales it always rains
That's
and
not true.
it's full of sheep. He fell asleep as we crossed into Wales and I saw a sheep. Then we went to this very nice sort of golf club place where the wedding was and the hotel people were staying in was.
There won't be sheep there.
No sheep on golf courses, so he was very
Isn't like
disappointed.
that just a stereotype?
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
Okay.
He just wanted to see some sheep. I mean, to be fair, I get it. You go to Wales and because it's a stereotype, you're like, oh, I'm going to see some sheep.
Yeah, I'd expect it from New Zealand, but not. I don't know. I don't associate Wales with sheep personally.
Oh no, well, I mean, Wales, I think, is quite famous for having sheep. I think they are a agricultural sort of country.
Okay.
I mean, we have quite a lot of sheep as well. That's not we have all that.
Yeah. I would expect to see like real difficult to pronounce place names.
Yes, that was literally the only difference because it's part of the UK.
Mm.
Obviously, Wales is part of our country.
Yeah.
So literally, the only difference you get is you go down to Wales and you see a couple of place signs that you're like, oh, that's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah. And they have the accent, obviously.
Yeah, but even that, you get accents all over England.
That's true. I don't think maybe some of our worldwide global listeners would realise that.
I think they will. I think everywhere has accents, Liam.
Yeah, I know, but right. Look at like America. Each state almost has its own accent.
Action, yeah.
But we're smaller than most of their states.
Yeah,
and
but
we have,
I
like,
think
loads
we
of
probably
them.
just don't know. I think that there's probably different accents. There are different accents within the states. Think about like New York State, right? There's the New York accent, and then there's the Queen's accent.
Yeah,
Queens.
or like you've got the Valley Gal in California,
Yeah,
and then you've got like
New
the
Jersey.
surfer.
I'm sticking in New York. New Jersey's got its own accent.
Yeah,
Is that a
Boston.
different state? No, that's a different city. Yeah, Boston.
There we go. Yeah, New Jersey's a different state, you bell.
Sorry.
Anyway, accents. Moving on. So, what was the wedding like?
It was really good. But you know me.
Did
I
you
like a good
cry?
Wedding, Liam. No, I didn't.
Did you dance?
I did dance. There was lots of dancing.
How much?
A lot.
What sort of dancing did you do?
Wedding dancing.
What does that mean? Like,
You
describe
dance like
it.
you're at a wedding.
Describe it.
You do a dance.
Doesn't
There's
help.
lots of hand movements.
Do you dance by yourself or with people?
No, my dad loves dancing at weddings.
Okay.
He's not good at it particularly.
Yeah.
But he likes to do it, and he's first on the dance floor.
I can
last one
imagine
off.
that.
Yeah, he's full on. He just loves it. So I usually go and dance with him. Then other people join us.
Yeah.
Then because we usually get on there. Then there'll be pretty much everyone dancing.
Yeah.
And then throughout the night, people sort of drift away, and you get down to the last sort of resilient few, and that tends to be whatever group my dad has managed to summon to himself.
You know when you said he was first on the dance floor?
The bride and groom are first on the dance floor, yeah.
So he's just there in he's like,
He just goes in the middle of those two, and he's like, watch me dance.
got you. Yeah.
No, he's third on the dance floor.
Okay. Because one of the few weddings I've been to that I really enjoyed, similar situation where basically I dragged Kat onto the dance floor and then just didn't leave.
Yeah, that's the fun part of weddings. Like,
Well,
I like the rest of it. It's all fine. This one wasn't even a religious one, which is also good
yeah.
because they're a lot quicker when they don't have the religious
the
bit.
best wedding I went to, right? You had the ceremony bit where it's like, I now pronounce you husband and wife, all that sort of stuff, and they do the vows. But then when they like went off to do the photos and stuff, they hired a magician for like the people that were just milling around waiting.
I think you mentioned this when I was talking about my cousin's wedding.
It was so good though. It was the highlight. That was the best part of it. That shouldn't
be the highlight.
It was the best part. He did like magic in front of my eyes.
You're such a child.
Yep. What else you been up to?
Just work, mate.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I've played the new Assassin's Creed a bit.
Oh, what, Origins?
Yeah.
Any good? Do you want to do a review? We sometimes do video game reviews. Do you want to do one of those?
So far, probably 3.5.
Yeah.
Out of 5.
Our reviews tend to have more than just a number.
No, I don't know if you've heard my reviews, Liam.
No, you've got better.
I haven't played Unity or Syndicate.
Okay.
So I can't comment on what it's like compared to them, because, you know, there was a lot of negativity around those games. It's not as good as the old school Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
I like the Egyptian setting. That's interesting and new, and something that was teased in, I believe, Assassin's Creed 1.
It's gone open world as well, this one, hasn't it?
They were always sort of open world, but this one is more open world. Because, weren't you were like limited to a city, there'd be like multiple cities that you could travel to. I think Unity and Syndicate might have been more open world as well.
Okay.
But this one is like, from what I can see of the map, it looks like once I've unlocked everything, I will be able to potentially run across the entire map.
Yeah. Which you couldn't do before, I don't think.
Yeah, so we'll see. I've not unlocked everything yet, but it's good. It's
the thing I found. I've only played a couple of Assassin's Creed games, but I find after a while they become very samey.
This one has managed to, so far, not particularly do that. Like, a lot of the missions are similar ideas, but like, instead of just being like some of the older ones where it felt like very much like your next mission is assassinate this guy, before you do that here's 3 missions about getting ready to assassinate that guy.
Yeah.
This one has a lot of side quests, and it's quite easy to, and there's the level sort of, not wall, but barrier maybe, like, so basically the missions have like a recommended level.
Yeah.
You can't just power through the main story and do that, because you will hit the level wall and enemies will be way too strong. Like, you can't insta-kill everyone with your hidden blade in this one.
Okay.
So, like, if there's an enemy who's 3 levels higher than you, your sneak attack will do a lot of damage, but he might not die, which is quite cool. I like that.
That sounds interesting.
So, yeah, it's 3.5 because it's not, it's not crazy good. It's not crazy different, but I'm enjoying it.
I've realised that I've played a game since we last spoke that I actually completed, sort of.
Oh, go on.
So, it's been released. So Kingdom Hearts got a, like, re-release on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And it was packaged with 2. So you got Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and because it was like packaged and they added some extra stuff in, it's called 1.5 and 2.5.
Okay.
I haven't played the 2. I've only played 1, so I'm only reviewing that half of the release. Didn't really like it. I completed it.
I've heard good things about Kingdom Hearts, but I've never played it.
Yeah, I was expecting different things. I thought it would be a turn-based RPG, and it's not. It's more... It's like a very rudimentary version of the combat in The Witcher 3.
Oh, okay.
Like obviously bear in mind this did come out originally like a good decade or so before The Witcher 3, I think. Yeah. So you can forgive it almost for being rudimentary, but it is annoying. Just didn't really like the story, or the controls were annoying. Just all of it wasn't very good. I think like 2 out of 5, and that's being quite generous. Fair
enough. That's not great.
No. I've got to replay it for some trophies, but I completed it on hard, so that was pretty, pleased with myself for that one. Well done,
Good
Lee.
job.
Just really not keen to go and do the second one now, though.
Are you going to?
I haven't decided.
Okay.
What I've gone back to is Batman Arkham Knight.
Are you trying to 100% that?
Yeah, so ages and ages ago, I don't know if we did it on the podcast or if we just were speaking, but I was playing it ages ago, years, and I got to a certain point in the story and just stopped. Because there's a whole mystery in the story of who is the Arkham Knight.
Oh, yeah. Which is pretty obvious to anyone that likes Batman.
So I got to the end of that mystery, and there was still a little bit more story to go, and I was just like, to be honest, I've got what I want out of this story. Went back, finished the story, and I'm now like just mopping up the side quests and all that sort of stuff. It's fine. It's fun enough, It's good graphics and all that sort of stuff. I've got the Riddler stuff to do next, which might be a bit of a ball ache. But
yeah, I've never bothered with. I've done I do them, but I don't try and complete them all because I don't have the patience to do that.
yeah, I do. So
I know you do because you're a broken human being, just like
Yeah.
I'm broken in the opposite way.
yeah. Oh, and I also completed Life is Strange, which was
I
good.
need to finish that.
Yeah,
I
you do.
love that, but it's I think I was saying this to you and Dan, wasn't I?
Yeah,
That I play that game, and what happens is I play an episode, and by the time the episode finishes, I'm so like emotionally broken from playing it because it is a very emotional game.
yeah. You need to take a bit of a break.
Yeah, and then that just ends up because it's me being a magpie.
Yeah.
It's quite big breaks between episodes.
See, that's what I was doing. I would do an episode, play and complete a different game. Do an episode, play and complete a different game.
Yeah, that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah. But yeah,
Good,
I was
worth
pleased.
finishing.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you gonna play the new one?
If they release it on the like PlayStation Plus as a free monthly game at some point, like they did for Life is Strange, that's how I got it. It was a free game.
Yeah.
I don't really think I'll pay for it.
Oh, okay.
I'll happily play it if it's free. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if it was in a sale, because I liked it just fine. But we've discussed on the podcast before. I have issues with the games where the gameplay is minimal and it literally just feels like you're essentially watching a story unfold.
You hate in-depth stories. You like just quick action.
When it comes to games,
Yeah.
I don't like not feeling like I'm in control, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. That's why you're into BDSM.
Love it. Those are my favourite games.
BDSM games.
Yeah.
I wonder if there are any sort of BDSM manager type
There's
games.
gotta be.
Anyway.
There's probably like an expansion on like Leisure Suit Larry where you get to add a dungeon.
That'd be quite cool.
Or is it Leisure Suite?
Yeah, I've always said Leisure Suit in my head, but I think it might be Sweet.
Do you know what, right? There are words that annoy the fuck out of me, like quiche. Why is that not pronounced quish or quiche?
Well, because quiche is retarded.
Quiche makes sense.
Quiche doesn't sound good, though. No one wants to eat a quiche.
I mean, sounds better than quiche.
No, I think quiche sounds better.
I hate it. Absolutely
Quiche is
hate
like,
it.
oh yeah, I'm going to have some... What are you having for lunch? I might have a quiche.
Right.
If you were like, yo, cool Steve, what are you having for lunch? And he's like, man, I'm being healthy, I'm going to have some quiche. You'd be like, what a dickhead.
I don't know. The other one that always annoys me, and we used to live near a place, is like when you're at a dock or somewhere and it's a quay, like Quay.
Yeah.
That should be quay.
Yeah.
Now here's one that a cat taught me recently. I don't know if I'm going to say it. I'm probably not going to say this right.
Oh, good. So that's going to be good for everyone when you say something that none of us understand.
No, I'm going to copy the word to you to see if you know how it's pronounced.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, is that quinoa?
Right? I look at that, I go quinoa.
Yeah, I know you do.
I just, when it comes to words...
to be fair, I only know that's quinoa because I know the word. I've heard the word
but
quinoa.
How do you get quinoa from that?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Like,
I mean, it's probably a foreign word, Liam, is the thing.
I like words where you say what you see, and anytime I come up against a new word, that's my, like, immediate reaction to it.
I mean, I had this problem for years because as a kid I used to read a shit ton.
Yeah.
And, books that were above my reading level because I was a weird ass kid.
Yeah.
There were lots of words that and to this day I still every now and again find words that I have been mispronouncing because I read it as a kid.
Yeah.
And just no one's telling you how to say that, so I would just have it however I'd read it.
I think I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Because I also, I used to do nothing but read as a kid, so my reading level was ridiculous.
Yeah. Hell yeah, buddy.
Speaking of books, this was just such a nice segue. I've read a book.
What book did you read?
So you know how a couple of episodes ago we talked about how I was getting back into reading?
Yeah.
So that episode I was talking about Carrie and Stephen King and all that sort of stuff. To be fair, this was a reread for me. But after reading Carrie, and that being Stephen King's first book, I wanted to read Chuck Palahniuk's first book, which is Fight Club.
Oh, okay, so you've reread Fight Club?
Yeah, I just wanted to compare like these debut novels from two authors that I quite respect.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating, like, how Chuck Palahniuk's writing style is just so refreshing.
Yeah.
He has this very, like, minimalist writing technique.
Yeah, I've definitely read Fight Club. But it was years ago.
He uses, like, quite short sentences. Now and again, he'll do, like, repetition. It basically, you take, like, a sentence and you just strip away all of the, like, flowery descriptive stuff. And you get to, like, the core essence of what is trying to be said.
Yeah.
And it's it's a really like when I was a teenager, I went through his books like crazy fast because I was just obsessed with this writing style.
Fair enough.
Just because it's very different, I think, to what you would if you read a lot, what you'd be typically used to.
Yeah. I do remember it I do get what you're saying because I sort of vaguely remember it being like that.
Yeah, I also am a big fan of the film.
Yeah, how do they deal with because some of the aspects in the film, there's like all the cool once you know what's happening in the film.
Yeah.
There's all that stuff where like if you go back and watch it, certain scenes there are like
oh right, there is a brilliant example of that in the book.
Go on.
Where the very first time he meets Tyler Durden,
yeah,
something is described, and then it's literally written, "I know this because Tyler knows this."
Got you. Yeah, I think I do remember stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, when you like read it knowing that, it's just
it's
so
obvious.
well done. But obviously, this is a spoiler-free review, so no twists, no spoils.
Nothing happens in Fight Club.
It's good. Also, the edition I had featured an afterword that was written, which was also really interesting, which was just him kind of talking about how kind of the effect that Fight Club has had in just like the world.
Does he talk about the fact that, because I was listening to something the other day where they were talking about Fight Club and how it's one of those films that the point of the film is missed by the people who love it the most, which is that sort of bro culture of like, yeah, I want to be in a fight club and beat the shit out of people. And you're like, oh, you think this film's for you.
Yeah, no, that is touched upon.
Okay.
Also, I was wondering, at the moment, like on Twitter and stuff, snowflake is used as a way of like a derogatory term for people when they're like sensitive about issues or whatever. They're like, oh, don't be a snowflake, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Was that used before Fight Club? Because there's that bit of dialogue in Fight Club that's like, you are not a unique and brilliant snowflake, blah blah blah. Right?
I think it was used before Fight Club.
Yeah, I was just wondered, like, now it's being used a lot.
Yeah.
If that's where it came from, or if it came from somewhere else.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know whether it is Fight Club that has inspired the current use of it.
But anyway, the book is really good. Even if you've seen the film, I know in the past, like, I was obsessed with the Lord of the Rings films, and then when I tried to read the books, I really struggled, because I was just like, yep, I can anticipate what's happening on the next page. And the only time I really got into the books was any time it diverted away from the films.
The Tom Bombadil stuff?
Yeah, like, I just whizzed through that chapter, and then it just got back. I was literally reading like a page a day because I was struggling so much with it. Yeah,
see, I think I read all three in between film 1 and 2.
Right, got you.
So that made it easier, because I was like, oh, cool. Or maybe I think I read book 2 in between. I don't know. Yeah. I think I might have waited till film 3 had come out to finish the series, but...
Fair enough. My point being, like, with Fight Club, it doesn't matter if you're familiar with the film.
Yeah, doesn't it end differently?
It does. Rightly? Yes. Yeah, it ends very differently. And again, I think with the book, the most impressive part of it is not just the narrative, but it is the way it is presented. So even if you're familiar with the film, it's still just great to read. There's lines in it that are just excellent. I think just like one line which will be brilliant, which is stuff like on a long enough timescale, the life expectancy of everyone falls to 0. I'm getting that wrong, but there's lines like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, that are just really memorable.
Fair enough. Out of 5?
4 out of 5.
Very good.
Really good book.
Speaking of books, Liam.
Yep. You've got American Psycho, haven't you?
I haven't finished it.
You said you would.
Move on.
You said you would. Bloody Gibbo waiting impatiently. I feel so sorry for Gibbo.
I mean, at this point, he probably doesn't care anymore. Gibbo,
maybe he'll tweet us.
I keep asking people to tweet at me and tell me why I should finish this goddamn book, and no one is.
You should finish it because it's taken you this long now. It should be like a. You know how I get with my games and stuff, and I'm like, if I've invested X amount of time, I need to finish it.
But the thing is, I haven't invested X amount of time.
Yeah, well, just finish it then.
Normal amount of time.
Just finish it.
Here's the thing. Okay, I was thinking about this the other day, right? Because I was genuinely thinking yesterday. I think I was like, oh my god, I still haven't finished American Psycho, and I did say I'd finish it. There are 2 books.
Yeah. In
my life that I have not finished.
Yeah.
And one of them I went back and finished. So that literally means the only.
What's the other book?
It was I can't remember the name of it. It was some like dude from England who was like the best fencer.
Oh God.
and he travels to Japan because
It sounds
he's heard
awful.
about. It's honestly, it gets better, but at the beginning it was very long and drawn out, and there was this whole confusing love story going on in it that was sort of a bit shit.
Yeah.
And then they played a very lame card in that love story and sort of ruined it.
Alright, but
anyway,
do you honestly feel like American Psycho belongs in that category of books you haven't finished?
No,
that sound
I
that
don't
bad?
think. I think it's probably not a bad book. I don't think it's my kind of book at all.
Just finish it then.
But that's not a good reason to finish it.
Yeah, you just said you don't think it's a bad book, so on
No,
that
but it's
basis,
not.
finish it.
It's bad for me. I'm not saying it's a bad book for the world. I don't think everyone would hate it because they clearly don't. I do.
I still can't quite figure out what your issue with the book is, because I know you have issues with like you can see what they're trying to do and where they're going with it.
It's not even that. It's just that they're doing the same thing. The whole book is literally just the same thing happening. I don't know. Like I've said before, I don't know whether I'm somehow just managed to time it so poorly that I'm like about to hit the escalation of it.
Possibly.
But literally,
Do you know how you'd
the
find
entire
out?
first half of the book is the same thing for half the book.
There's only one way to find out.
I'm just worried that I'm going to finish it and be like, what a shit book. And then everyone's going to be annoyed at me again.
Doesn't matter.
It does.
It doesn't. I've had film reviews. So I was like, I didn't like that very much, and then
Yeah, but
people
no
were
one
like,
cares
"Oh."
about your film reviews because you just sort of drone on.
Some people care, but not many.
That was really mean. I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
it's fine. Talking about film reviews,
Liam's been to the cinema, and these are the things. Here are his spoilery reviews of the things that he saw at the cinema.
perfect. I saw 4 films. I'm not allowed to talk about 4 films though, so I'm saving one of them for our next episode.
Ooh, exciting!
Yeah, we used to do YouTube exclusives, but we've got to fix YouTube.
Yeah, all right, move on.
Jigsaw.
Yes, okay. I want to know about this one because I've only seen one Saw film, but it's one of those franchises that I'm not interested in seeing, but I'm interested in the series.
You have issues with torture porn, don't you?
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea.
What's the one Saw film that you have seen?
I believe it's 4.
Why would you only watch 4?
I think I was around someone's house and they were like, let's watch Saw 4. I've seen the one where it starts with a dude chained to the wall with rings through all his tendons.
Yeah, I think that is 4.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact
Go on.
that I only realised recently. So I have seen all of them in the past. Let me just get his name up. This is going to just thrill you.
Is this your fun fact of the episode?
This could be the fun fact of the episode. You know, we recently did Gilmore Girls with Amanda.
Yeah.
And you had Scott Patterson, who plays Luke in the Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
He's in Saw 4.
As who?
Agent Peter Strahm.
Is he is he the main guy or?
He's definitely one of the main guys. He's also in Saw 6 and Saw 5.
Interesting.
So that is a pretty fun fact, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Jigsaw.
What is it? It's a sequel, right? Not a prequel or anything.
Yeah. So this is why I was interested in it, right? Because I love it when horror movies go, this is the final chapter.
Yeah.
And then a few years pass and they go, this is a new beginning.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, Friday the 13th's done it. A Nightmare on Elm Street did it. I think Halloween might have, maybe. I don't know. It's a trope that you get in horror franchises. I would much prefer they do a sequel like 10 years after the last one than them remake or reboot the franchise.
Yeah, I mean, this is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, why I was curious to see this film is because I thought, right, it's been 10 years, they did a final chapter, they have surely got to have a really, really good reason for bringing it back. Like, there's got to be a good story to be told here, or like an interesting twist, or, you know, just something to justify them deciding to do another one. Like, I didn't think it would be purely greed.
I've got a feeling that you're about to say it isn't that.
It's not.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So
It's
what?
It was more of the same.
Do they explain, like, is there a good reason for it?
No.
Like, because he's, you know, there's reasons that Jigsaw
Yeah,
himself.
okay. This isn't really a spoiler. In the franchise, quite early on in the franchise, your main antagonist dies.
Yeah, and because one of them, maybe even 4. Yeah, because 4 isn't him.
No. So in the third one, there is an autopsy scene that's very grisly, okay?
Yeah.
And it honestly feels like the rest of the franchise is literally them overcomplicating timelines and crisscrossing, and it gets very confusing. Just as a way for them to justify him keep being in the films, because you're having to keep flashing back and adding new layers onto what's already been established.
Yeah.
Like, you could honestly, you know, like when in sort of murder mystery movies and stuff, like at the police, they'll have the pictures on the wall with all of the red string going to each one and stuff like that as they try and figure out timelines of events and that. You could do that with this franchise.
Okay.
It's so convoluted. This is just more of the same.
Fair enough.
It really is. It's like, you know, the way they kind of justify getting Tobin Bell, who plays Jigsaw, the way they justify getting him back is just pathetic. The traps. So the whole thing about the Saw film is each one basically was trying to outdo the last one with just ridiculous
it's just
traps.
Sadistic traps that are horrible.
The ones in this aren't even that crazy. Like,
I mean, in the trailer you see one that's just like saws falling into a grain silo, which I was like, that's not particularly...
No. I think the best one, I can't remember which number it's from, the best one is someone is chained into like the bottom of a vat or something, and pig carcasses are getting ground into just juice, which is slowly drowning the person.
How do you get out of it? What's the win?
I honestly don't remember. But
that's the other thing about them, is the idea is that you can always win. You just have to... There's
a sacrifice element.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the win condition of that one is. I just remember being like, whoever thought of that is just incredibly messed up.
Yeah, I mean, that is intense.
Yeah, it's a brilliant scene as well. But anyway, this was just bland. Like, the twist at the end was pathetic. You could see it coming. I was kind of hoping this would like breathe new life into the franchise, and we could be like, right, cool, they've got a really good reason for bringing it back, and this could start it again, sort of thing. No, it was just really bad. 2 out of 5.
Fair enough.
2 out of 5. It did have... what's their name? Hang on. Sorry, I should have prepared this. It was an actress from Smallville.
Okay.
Laura Vandervoort.
Who does she play?
Kara.
Oh, okay.
AKA Supergirl, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Supergirl. So she's basically unrecognisable, though. She's got a different colour hair and all that sort of stuff. So it was only looking it up that I realised.
Fair enough.
It's not good. It really isn't good.
Yeah.
I honestly, I couldn't recommend it.
Fair enough. I mean, I probably won't see it. I've only seen one of them.
You should watch the first one. It is really good.
That is what I've heard. And is 2 the one that's set in a house?
Yeah.
I've heard that 2 is quite good as well.
Yeah, 2 is one of those examples that, again, we've discussed before in the podcast, where the script was written for a different film, and then they went, we could fit this into the franchise if we just rejig it a bit.
Got you.
It's an example like that. Like Die Hard 3 is another one of those.
Fair enough.
Next film that I saw.
Yep.
The Florida Project.
Okay. I haven't actually heard that much about this one.
This is one of those indie movies that got really good buzz at like film festivals earlier this year. You know, it's not the sort of movie that's going to be kind of playing to packed theatres. It's more in line with, say, Moonlight before it won the Oscar.
Okay.
So like Moonlight wins the Oscar and suddenly like everyone wants to go see it, right? Like I know at my local cinema they did an advanced screening of Moonlight. Then when it actually got released, they didn't show it until it won the Oscar and they brought it back into cinemas.
Got you.
This is one of those sort of movies. You're looking at like a fairly low budget. I thought it would be right on my street. Like coming of age, love it.
Yep.
I like the director, Sean Baker. His last film was called Tangerine, which Alicia Malone on Twitter recommended it to me, sort of. Well, she recommended it, and then I tweeted her saying I was going to watch it, and she kind of acknowledged
so not
that.
Actually to you, but okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I like Tangerine. I think you should definitely watch that. Watch it next month because it's a Christmas movie. So December. It's set at Christmas in California. So it doesn't feel like a Christmas movie at all.
Yeah, got you.
But you should watch it. Yeah, I thought that was fine. The Florida Project is basically going to depend on one key factor, and that is how annoying do you find children.
Yeah, so this is not your kind of film,
No,
because you do not like children.
I do not. And this is why I'm saying this, right? Because if you have a high threshold for children, you might get a lot out of this film, because one of the things that it does quite well, I think, is it depicts kids being kids in quite an authentic way.
Yeah.
And there is a train of thought that you might look at that and go, that's quite cute. I look at that and go, that's fucking annoying. They're just loud and screaming, and I don't like it.
Yeah, you hate kids.
Yeah. So if you're in the camp of like, you know, oh, kids are cute, you're going to get a lot more mileage out of this film than I did.
Fair enough.
However, there's a couple of really good scenes. Like one in particular that's just so tense and fast. It feels like it's just been pulled in from a completely different movie. It's really odd.
Okay.
It works within the context of the movie. It's just so good that it doesn't belong in this film.
Right. Okay.
Willem Dafoe is excellent in this film. He plays a really good role, and what's her name? Bear with me. There was another actress that was good. Bria Vinate. I'm probably getting that wrong. Sorry if I am. She's good. I think a lot of people are going to say that Brooklyn Prince was good as well. Didn't work for me.
Okay.
But probably just me. The plot to this, so to give you a rough idea of what this is about, it's basically set in Florida. It's about a young mum raising her child kind of basically in poverty, where they're living in like a motel sort of situation. The kid doesn't really go to school, just runs wild with other kids, and the mum doesn't really have a job.
Okay.
The plot is largely aimless. There doesn't really feel like there's a lot of direction behind this film. The thing is, despite there being a lot of key factors that I didn't like, I kind of enjoyed being in this landscape.
Okay.
Which is I know that's weird and that's confusing. Yep. It's the sort of film that there was a lot going on that I didn't like, but I still, when it ended, I kind of wanted it to carry on going.
Okay, yeah, that is weird.
And I don't know why that is. Like some of the adult characters are all really good. Just the focus isn't really on them. It's more on the kids. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I wanted more with the adults. I just enjoyed the environment. You know, there were good parts to it. I just couldn't get over how annoying I was finding the children.
Okay, so basically, it's if you are like Liam and despise children, don't watch this film.
Yeah, but otherwise, if you quite like kids and stuff, crack on.
Fair enough.
All right, last film.
Did you give that an out of 5?
Maybe not. It's a 2 out of 5.
Fair enough.
Good noticing.
I'm a professional, Liam.
The last film that I saw this week at the cinema was a film called Only the Brave, which is based on a true story about this group called Hot Shots, which is a group of firefighters.
Okay.
It's based, I don't know what state, but a state in America that has a lot of trees.
Very good, Liam. It's cool. It's about firefighters, a group of special firefighters.
Hot Shots.
Set in a state with lots of trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're called the Granite Mountain Hot Shots. It's really good. Like it's got
cool.
It's got Miles Teller in it, okay, and that's kind of the reason why I wanted to go see it, because ever since Whiplash, I've just been a huge fan of his, and I also really liked a movie he was in called Two Night Stand, which I think it might be on Netflix. That's another movie you should definitely check out if you can.
It was set in New Mexico. No, that's the photography. Is it set in New Mexico?
I don't think it is.
It's not important.
Yeah, Two Night Stand is really worth seeing as well. Anyway, Only the Brave. So I knew nothing about the true story it was based on.
Yeah, no, I've not heard of this.
Yeah, that's the way to go into it.
Okay, I'm not going to read anything. I was just looking for.
Yeah,
I said what state it was.
I don't know if this will play differently if you know how it's all going to end.
Okay.
But part of why it worked for me was because I didn't know that. It wasn't like it didn't end how I thought it might. I had a few suspicions as I was watching. Nope. Yeah. You've got Josh Brolin in it, who is essentially like the main character, right? He's like the superintendent of this group. Miles Teller is like basically he's got issues with drugs and stuff. He's just had a daughter and he's trying to turn his life around. So that's why he's joined this. You've got Jeff Bridges in it, Jennifer Connelly, and also Taylor Kitsch, who is in Friday Night Lights.
Oh, okay.
Who he's great. I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to accidentally like ruin anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's just that the locations are really impressive. There's a good scene towards the beginning where they're like on a run, like training drill.
Yeah.
And Josh Brolin's character sort of is standing on this hill overlooking this huge forest, and he's like, right, look at this. This is the last time that you will just see this as beauty. Once you start kind of doing what we do, this is just going to look like fuel.
Got you. That's quite cool.
Yeah, so really good movie, 4 out of 5. If you're going to watch one film this week, that's the one I would recommend.
Okay, fair enough.
That's my cinema reviews. But you've been to the cinema.
I have, Liam. I've seen Thor Ragnarok.
We're going to do a special, maybe.
We are.
I honestly don't remember much about the film anymore.
Well, you'll have to re-remember. It's good. I had a few issues with some bits. I think it's the best Thor film.
Yeah.
I don't think I rate it as highly as you did, if I remember rightly.
I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think I might.
But I think you were saying, it's on. I think were you saying it's like in your rankings of Marvel films?
Yeah.
I can't remember where you put it. You put it quite high up, and I think I put it further down than you did.
I think I would say it's definitely top 10, maybe top 5.
I mean, there's not that many, so maybe it probably is top 10 for me.
What do you mean there's not that many? There's like 17.
Yeah, so top 10 is more than half.
Well,
it could be one of their worst films and be in the top 10.
I'm trying, because all right, hang on, I'm just thinking. I know Avengers is my favourite. Spider-Man Homecoming is up there. Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one's up there. Iron Man, the first one's up there. And then it might actually be Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, okay, so for you it's top 5. For me it's probably top 10.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, there's a couple of things that I had issues with. If we do a special, you'll find out all about. But yeah, no, it's a good film. It's definitely worth seeing if you hadn't seen it. Fucking love Thor, love the Hulk.
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Yeah, same as you. Thor out of 5,
Thor,
Liam.
Liam. Oh, God.
Thor, because he's the main character. It's Thor. And it's a Thor film, and that sounds a lot like 4. So Thor out of 5.
Oh, I actually put Thor Ragnarok above Guardians of the Galaxy.
Did you?
I did.
Mm.
Which made it my number 4 out of 5.
Oh, because he's Thor.
There we go.
Very good.
Also,
Liam.
Yeah.
I did two things.
Okay.
I watched some more anime. So it's time for Jack's going to annoy Liam by talking about things that Liam hates.
I'm not annoyed.
Cool, good. I'm glad. Oh, shit.
What?
I used the wrong name. I'm going to have to bleep myself.
So
Ellie talks about
I think
shit
you
that
need an
annoys
air
Liam.
horn there.
I might have to. Damn it.
Oh dear. Has this happened to you? Like have you adjusted it to the new name?
No, it's difficult. I occasionally fuck it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was wondering this, like when you have a new name, if someone is kind of like trying to get your attention, do you have to like really be conscious or?
No, if people are saying Ellie,
yeah.
I respond.
But like
to
let's say you're in like a crowd and someone yells Ellie, would you look up?
Yeah, I've started to.
Okay.
But which is weird because I've had a couple of times where someone said Ellie and then I look around and I'm like, I don't think they're talking to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, Ellie annoys Liam, but Liam's not annoyed. I watched, Liam, a 4-episode series, so very short.
Yeah.
It's Netflix original, Castlevania, based on the famous games.
I've heard about this.
It's actually quite good. As someone that doesn't know a whole lot of Castlevania lore...
I played one of the games and it was really good.
Yeah, I played the N64 one in the past.
Oh, this was like a Game Boy one, and there was a chance of when you killed things, I think they would drop cards or something, and I got addicted to that.
Oh, of course you did. That's like designed for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, from what I know of Castlevania, I like it, and they get good ratings, the games, and everyone seems to like them. Yeah, the series, it's like very gory. There's some really well done gore scenes.
How long are the episodes?
25 minutes. So it's literally, you're putting aside... It's
like
like
2
watching
hours,
a film.
Just under.
It's like watching a film. And it's... I think it's worth watching. It doesn't fall into... I think because it's based on a video game, as opposed to... it doesn't really fall into any of the traditional tropes of anime.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple of things, like the way he cracks jokes. The main character, Trevor Belmont.
Yeah.
When he cracks jokes... Sometimes it's a little bit anime the way he does it. Like he'll be in a very serious situation and then do a like, ho, and you're like, okay, yep, cool, good.
What's the animation style like? Like, is it very typical, or have Netflix tried to do something a bit different?
It's not. It's quite traditional.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if they used any CGI, because I know Netflix sort of, for some of their anime stuff, do use more CGI. I don't think there was a whole lot.
Okay.
But it's also, it's I think it's better quality than some animes.
Yeah, got you.
Like, there's some stuff that's done that looks really cool. Was there? There might have been a bit of CGI, maybe. But anyway, yeah, it's worth giving it a try. The fact that it's only 4 episodes annoyed me, because by the time I finished the 4th one, I was like, more. Yeah, I was like, oh god, I hope they do a second season. I don't know if they will, because I'm not sure what it ties into, whether it was done as a like, there's a new Castlevania coming or something.
Yeah,
I didn't really pay attention when it came out.
Yeah,
but yeah, it like hooked me. It did a lot of good stuff. I always like it when animes are like not afraid to be gory, just because some people in Western culture are like, it's for kids because it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And this definitely does not. This is not for kids. Yeah, I think overall probably a 4 out of 5. It was genuinely good. I would advise people to watch it if they haven't already.
Fair enough.
The second thing I watched though, Liam.
Yeah.
Not quite as aimed at adults. It's an anime called Little Witch Academia. Okay. I heard that small sigh.
Yeah.
It's about, Liam, a young girl who gets accepted into a witch school.
So far, say Harry Potter.
No, not Harry Potter, because anyone can go to this witch school. You don't have to have magic, though some people have more magic than others.
Why would you... What?
So a lot of the let me... Right, let's just do this.
Okay, let's be honest. Am I going to care?
Yes, you're gonna be so invested in this. There are a load of famous witch families, Liam, and all their kids go to witch school, and not many people get accepted from the common people. But Akko, the main character, she's not from a witch family, but she gets accepted anyway because the school's got financial troubles and they need students. And then she goes to witch school and she learns all about magic, and she tries to follow in the footsteps of her hero, Shiny Chariot. Yes, that is a character name. Yes, that is a person.
I'm waiting for the bit where I start caring.
She does cool spells.
Right.
It's just adorable and great, and they're awesome, and I didn't think I'd like it, and then I accidentally fell in love with it.
Do you think I'd like it?
I want to say yes. I think it would be able to break into your icy heart.
I'm not convinced.
It's just a good time.
Is it just like really wholesome?
Yeah, it honestly is. Like, it's all about, it's the proper like
Gilmore Girls.
Because she's sort of like, yeah, kind of, yeah. It's
just
she's
nice
like she's not
there.
A particularly good witch, and it's got a lot of like, she'll fuck something up, and it will end up with other people getting in trouble, and then you get the scene where like her friends help her anyway, and she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And they're like, "Well, we're your friends." And then she's like, "Friendship is the best thing ever," and you're like, "Oh my god, it's so adorable."
Sounds awful.
No, it's better than that. I did a very bad example. And Liam, I just before I rate it, I want to say to you, Liam, that believing in yourself is your true magic.
No, it's not.
It is, buddy.
I disagree.
See, look how good you feel now that I've said that to you.
No, I'm annoyed. I disagree.
Actually, I think it might be believing in your dreams is your true magic.
I think my dance moves are my true magic.
Yeah, you would get accepted into witch dance school. Anyway, I'd give it 4.5 out of 5.
It's a really high score.
So high. I loved it so much.
That's ridiculous.
It's so good.
Housekeeping.
Keep my house.
Okay, that's new. We had some tweets.
Yeah, we had a lot of tweets, and you've decided we're going to read all of them. So let's do it.
Amanda tweeted us
yes.
about our Halloween special that we released in November because you took too long to edit it. Amanda said...
We were a day late.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was released in November, wasn't it?
All right, fuck off.
Amanda said, started listening last night but had to pause when the Conjuring conversation started. Got spooked. Now that it's daylight, I think I'm safe.
Yep.
Then she said... So I'm definitely going to skip the movie because your discussion of it while listening in broad daylight spooked me.
Sorry, Amanda.
That's good, though, I think. We must have discussed the movie well, I feel.
Yeah.
And then she said, ghosts are real, and then tagged your Twitter account in it. Try growing up in a haunted house.
Yeah, I will admit, Amanda, that I was a little bit heated on the subject of ghosts being real. I think a better way of saying it is, personally, I have had no experiences which have given me any evidence to believe in ghosts. But there are people like you who I trust, who say they believe in ghosts and have had experiences. So I'm willing to accept that I might be wrong.
I just love that she's thrown this gauntlet down for you of try growing up in a haunted house.
I mean, yeah. Do you think that was an actual challenge? Like I should I should go and find a family in a haunted house and say, "Hi, I'm your new daughter."
Yeah.
I want to grow up in this house.
Yeah, and then you responded.
I mean, we could go to a haunted house, Liam, and do a video.
I think I would find that quite spooky.
Oh, I would too. I'm terrified of ghosts.
Unless we did it during the day.
You said that so matter-of-factly.
Could you imagine what a terrible video that would be, though?
Whoa!
It's like, well, we've gone to this haunted house and it's daytime, so everything is fine.
I mean, theoretically, why would ghosts be more active at night?
Just more confidence.
Let's just go in the day, mate. We've got it.
Yeah, I think at night, ghosts are more active because it's harder to see them.
But don't they, like, glow?
No.
Okay.
Then you responded, and I don't know what you said, I didn't take a screenshot of that, but then Amanda said, I was responding to the first time you said it, you softened a bit later, but yeah, they're totally real.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I may have apologised like I just did.
Then she said, come stay the night at my mum's house, and you might become a believer, right? And then tagged her mum in it, and her mum responded saying, oh yes, I still think it's not real, and then some terrifying crap will occur at my house, and then I remember that I have to believe. So, you know, maybe it's...
That sounds terrifying.
Maybe we don't go to a haunted house, we go to Amanda's mum's house.
Just get spooked.
Yeah.
Can you, Amanda, I have a genuine question if you're listening. I hope you are. You are like one of our only fans.
When can we visit?
Well, no, I was going to say, can you tell us, would you be able to like email us, if you don't want us to read it out, that's fine, but could you email us something that happened to you? Because that's... I meant to ask you when you brought it up like the first time you came on our podcast, and I didn't. And it eats at me that I don't know what these spooky stories are.
Okay. So, Amanda, the ball is in your court. Gibbo tweeted us.
Oh God, did he say something about American Psycho?
No, he just said,
yay!
If you want a good Netflix show, try Big Mouth. The hormone monster is awesome. It is nothing you will expect. The more you watch, the more you'll like it. So maybe we should add that to our list of
I keep seeing
culture
it,
swaps. Yeah, I do too.
I might try it.
Yeah.
So maybe we add it onto our list.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Gibbo.
That was pretty much it for the housekeeping. Oh, I've been watching Gilmore Girls.
How's that going?
I'm on like episode 16 of season 4, so we've slowed down with it a bit because we also watched season 10 of The Big Bang Theory.
Right.
So that got in the way a bit. The thing is, like, something's happened in this season, and I get why it's happened because the show was obviously leading to that thing happening. It's probably not a spoiler if I talk about it. Rory's gone off to college in this season.
Got you.
Which it just means that they're having to like find reasons to get her back in Stars Hollow, which is just a little bit like...
Is this the season
I don't think so.
About? Okay.
I don't think it is. Like, it isn't terrible or anything at this stage.
Okay. Okay.
It is just... It's not as good as the first 3.
Okay.
And this is the reason why, I think. Because like, you have episodes that are all based about Rory being in college. It's not like she's gone to college and you don't see any of that. It's just I don't care about any of it. That's the problem. But yeah, so I'm still going with Gilmore Girls, and I'm still really enjoying it.
Fair enough.
That was housekeeping. We kept the house.
We did.
Culture swap.
Swap my culture, Liam.
Stranger Things, season 2.
Very good.
This was released Halloween weekend.
It's going to be full of... Whoa! It's going to be full of spoilers, people.
Yep, I finished watching this about literally 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we timed it really well, if I remember rightly. Like, both of us... Didn't we sort of time it out so that we were finishing...
Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe I did. I can't remember.
Yeah, you did. I finished it a bit earlier than you did. But yeah, if we had recorded this on time, which would have been over a week ago...
Yeah.
That would have been good.
Yep.
But we didn't.
Liam was going through some stuff.
Yeah. So, here we are. Trying to remember what happened in season 2 of
I remember
Stranger
what
Things.
happened. I feel like probably some of the finer details have been lost.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with how did this compare to season 1 for you?
That's a good question. I think season 1 is better.
Okay.
Not by a whole lot.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's stuff in season 2 that I liked a lot more than season 1. Like, I think I've said this before on the show. Like, I love when there's, like, lore to be discovered in these sort of things. So, like, the Upside Down is awesome and fascinating. And in season 1, you get one creature from the Upside Down, right?
Yeah, a Demogorgon.
So it's this whole mysterious, like, what the fuck is the Upside Down? What's happening there? And then season 2, suddenly it's like, oh, actually, there's this big fuck off monster in the Upside Down, and baby demogorgons, or possibly a new type of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, that to me is awesome because I'm like, cool, I get to learn more about this weird alternate dimension.
Yeah. What I find interesting about it, and what I like, is the fact that the stuff that we've seen so far, the characters refer to them via their knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, I do like the scene in this season that calls that out, where Dustin just busts out his monster manual,
Yeah,
and it starts explaining what a mind flayer is, and then there's just this like the what's the policeman's name?
Hopper.
Hopper. That's a fucking hell. When Hopper's just like, sorry, are we relying on this book? And they're like, yeah, this is all we've got. And then there is just like a bit later where Dustin's like, okay, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of agree with you. Not quite as good as season 1, but very close.
Yeah, it's got its problems.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that, but before we get to that,
okay.
Let's do a quick synopsis, right? Basically, following the events of season 1, where Will was stuck in the Upside Down for most of it, and we met 11.
Yep.
In this one, now 11 is basically being looked after by Hopper in secret.
Yep.
Will, at the end of season 1, coughed up a weird slug thing.
Yep.
That returns. And he keeps getting these weird, like, it's not like a flashback, it's more like a transition where
it's more like a seizure.
Yeah, but he'll suddenly see like the Upside Down in the place
he'll flick into the Upside Down and meet every single time he goes there. He meets this giant monster thing.
Yeah. Now, considering we didn't really see a lot of Will in the first season, I thought that Noah Schnapp, who plays him in this one, did an excellent job.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also is a sort of says a good thing about season 1, that even though we didn't get a whole lot of Will in season 1, in this season I felt like I knew him, sort of thing, because he feels like part of the gang.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they've got a new addition. It flows very easily with this is their friend who was missing.
Yeah, and I wonder as well, right, because obviously, because you don't get to see a whole lot of him, I wonder, did they just luck out by casting a kid who could act really well, or did they audition knowing that he would play a bigger part down the road?
No, they must have known that he'd play a big part.
You'd hope so.
And also, I mean, to be fair, even though we don't see a lot, the acting he does in season 1...
it's good, but the acting in season 2 is just like next level, essentially.
Yeah, no, that is the other thing. These kids are all really good actors.
Yeah, like annoyingly good.
They're amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, things I liked about this season. I want to do that first because I've got a few things I didn't like as well. My favourite thing about the season, hands down, is Joe Keery as Steve Harrington.
Yep. Oh my god, yep.
Like, I don't really remember what I thought of him in the last season. I think
we thought he was a dick, and I think he is.
Yeah.
I think in season 1 he's the dick.
Yeah. This season, they just do something excellent with his character, which is make him basically like a babysitter.
Yes.
And it's like they team him up with Dustin, and that's the spark of genius, I think, because they play off of each other so well.
Yeah, the Steve-Dustin relationship is so good.
Yeah, like Dustin was my favourite character in the first season, and he's still amazing in this one. Just Steve, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the surprise to it, that I wasn't expecting how much I would like Steve.
Yeah.
But just, it worked so damn well.
Yeah, no, that honestly, that just the way that grows. I mean, it's so good the way it goes from, because it almost towards the beginning of the season when Nancy and him sort of break up.
Yep.
It could very easily go to a point where Steve isn't written out but just becomes a minor character.
Yeah.
And then just that scene of Dustin being like, I need your help.
Yeah.
And Steve just pulling out his spiky baseball bat. And you're like, oh, okay, no, Steve is definitely staying in this season.
Yeah, I think it's when Dustin's like, do you have the bat? And Steve's like, what bat? And then Dustin's just like, the one with the nails. Like, just really like, duh.
Yeah.
It was, I think what's good about this as well, they did it well in the first season, but in this one, the kids are believably kid-like.
Yeah.
Like not annoyingly so. But
no, they're not annoying kids. It's because they're like the sort of kids that when I was a kid, I probably would have hung out with.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're the outcasts and the weirdos.
Yeah, the ones that will play Dungeons and Dragons and
Yeah, exactly.
in the audio-visual club. And,
Yes.
you know, I like the science teacher's favourite students.
Yes.
I'm disappointed we didn't get to see more of the science teacher. He's great.
He is great. I
can't
like
remember
him
his
too.
name. Is Mr. something? Oh, Mr. Clark.
Cool.
Okay, I also thought that the addition of Max was good. I didn't like her at first, but really liked her by the end.
I think that's deliberate,
Yeah.
and it's meant to be the way, because that is what her character is like. Is sort of the hard, unlikable kid.
Yeah.
Because she's super tough because she's being effectively abused.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that leads to one of my favourite scenes of this season is the Steve and Billy showdown.
Yeah,
where
that was
they
great.
just, because Billy the whole season has basically, he's Max's older brother who's also moved to town with her,
Yeah.
and he has heard that Steve is like the tough guy who's in charge of the school.
Yeah, he's like the cool kid.
I think by the end of season 1 is sort of not true anymore, because Steve has sort of changed because of the shit that's happened to them.
Yeah.
So Billy comes in and keeps just effectively trying to bully Steve, who's just like, why are you doing this? I don't get it. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And then they have a showdown where Steve and him just have a punching match that Steve loses.
Yeah.
And then Max just badassly injects her stepbrother with like a tranquilizer.
I had issues with Billy throughout the season, right? Lots of issues.
He's very much the obvious dickhead.
He is, and also it became obvious by about, I want to say, like a good 2 or 3 episodes before the end, how the end was going to play out in like broad strokes. Like,
yeah,
it was obvious that 11 and Mike were going to go in one direction, and then it was kind of like, well, the rest of the kids need something to be up against, and that something is going to have to be like a more human element than the upside down stuff that Mike and 11 are facing, and that's where Billy fits in. Like, it just, to me, it became it was one of my issues with the show, is there was a few moments where things were a little bit too obvious.
So can we delay this conversation?
Yeah, because I want to talk about Sean Astin.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Because I think it's going to lead to a discussion, because I've got thoughts about this. While I agree with you, I have thoughts about this.
Yeah, well, I was going to bring it back to something I did like about Billy, right?
Okay.
I loved the scene where he meets Nancy. No, not Nancy. Nancy's mum.
Yeah. And just flirts with her outrageously.
Yes. That scene was, to me, like, almost redeemed how much I hated Billy for the rest of the show.
Yeah, because he is a horrible person.
Yeah, but not in that, just like, because you are supposed to hate him.
Yeah.
It's not so much that's what I'm saying. It's more I hated just the way he was being used in the show.
Right, got you.
But I loved that scene.
Yeah, that was a very good scene.
Yeah, Sean Astin. Or did you have something else you wanted to say about Billy?
No.
Sean Astin, again, didn't think I would really like the character he was playing at the start when they first introduced him. Thought he was great.
I mean, he was in season 1, wasn't he?
No.
Was he not at all?
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I remembered him. Maybe I'm just yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Again, bit obvious how they're going to use him.
Okay,
I
delay
liked
that.
him.
Talk about the character first.
I'm saying that I liked him.
Yeah, just talk about that then.
That's what I did.
I really like the bit that made me love his character.
Yeah.
Was when Will is having his episodes, and because Will gets infected by this big giant monster, it like spreads into him or something.
Yeah. It essentially becomes like a parasite within him, right?
That's
the way they describe it.
But then it's not a parasite in that it's a small thing that's inside his body. It's somehow connected to him, even though it's this giant, horrible monster.
Yeah.
But so he's drawing all these like tendrils that they figure out that they connect together and make a giant map.
Yeah.
And poor Bob just gets asked to come round, told he's not allowed to ask any questions, and is trying desperately not to, and then keeps being like, can someone just tell me what's happening? And they keep shooting him down, and then suddenly he just goes, oh, wait, and just goes into this like puzzle solving mode, which I just loved, as he quickly just breaks down exactly what it is, figures out it's a map of the city.
Yeah. No, that was a great scene.
So good. Now you can talk about the bit you want to complain about.
No, I'm still on things I like. I also really liked Hopper.
Yeah, Hopper was really good.
And
I like his relationship with Elle.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. That was good. There was a lot of stuff that was good about this show. Now I'm going to talk about stuff that I didn't like. I just don't think that it detracts from how much I enjoyed the show.
No, yeah. I think people get that when we talk.
Good. So stuff I didn't like. I really, really struggled with the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I didn't get this. You said this to me when you started, and I wasn't sure why.
Yeah. The first 2 episodes, to me, it was too much. Like, imagine you're watching it sat next to someone, and they just keep nudging you, and they just go, "This is set in the 80s." Just constantly throughout the whole episode. It just got distracting to the point of annoyance.
See, I didn't particularly get that.
Yeah, and I don't know how you missed it, because it was just...
No. I don't think it's that I missed anything. I think it's that sometimes you read too deeply into stuff.
I don't think that's true.
Because if it is set in the 80s, right? Which it is.
Yeah.
There's going to be a bunch of 80s shit. So
there is, but
every time you saw something from the 80s, you were like, oh, why won't they just let this go? And it's because it's set in the 80s.
It's not... Right. There's a way of doing it, which I think they did well in the first season, but I think... And to be fair, the rest of this season too, the issue is when there'll be like a shot, right, where it's just a cinema and it's just a marquee and it's just like, oh, Ghostbusters in a cinema. And it's just like, it's when there's single shots and literally the only focus of the shot is to remind you what year this is set in. There was a lot of that in the first 2 episodes.
I don't think that is what the Ghostbusters stuff is doing, though. Because later on, the Ghostbusters stuff ties back into it.
Yeah, it does. But when that adds into all of the other stuff, it becomes a bit of a trend.
I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah, I only really noticed it in the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
And then it kind of calmed down for the rest. I felt like they didn't really know what to do with Eleven in this show, in this season, and that she's such an important part of the first season, right?
Yeah.
And basically, what we wanted to see as the audience was her reunited with the friends.
Yeah.
And I get that they wanted to draw that out, and like it is really sweet in like, you know, the penultimate episode where that finally happens. But it's also frustrating kind of not being given that, because it's not like they give her a lot else to do. It is literally, there's like 6 episodes where her storyline is, you're in this hut, stay there.
Yeah, I think the problem they had felt like they knew what they were doing in the fact that, right, Elle has opened this gate.
Yeah.
So we know that Elle is going to have to close it.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we also know that we're going to have character development with her past.
Yeah.
And we know that we're going to have like a scene of her getting better at her powers, because that's all stuff that people would kick off if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Or not kick off, but be like, oh my god, I just wish I knew more about Elle's past. Why are they not giving this to me?
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is that those 3 things don't necessarily fit into the rest of the story that easily. The final scene obviously does.
Yeah.
But the Elle's past kind of works.
Yeah, kind of.
I didn't mind the episode where she was sort of getting that, but I think the real problem was let's train her up and make her stronger.
Yeah, that was the weakest episode, and I think I've seen that being discussed a lot online.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, because it's such a weird episode to suddenly hit this season.
Yeah, so let's go into that, shall we? So that's episode 7.
Yeah.
It kind of comes along at a really weird moment in the season as well, where basically shit just starts like really kicking off and going down, and then the show just pauses on all of that. That's really engaging, really interesting, to the point where I think it was quite late at night and we just finished episode 6, where it ends on this huge thing happening. And I turned to Kat and I was like, well, we have to watch the next one now, right? And she was like, no, it's too late, I need to go to bed. And I can't imagine how disappointed I would have been
had you watched it.
Yeah, and it was like literally an hour where nothing that you care about actually happens. It's just it's 11 going to what city is it?
Is it Seattle?
It might have been, yeah. And basically she just hangs out with some like older misfits, basically.
Yeah.
And they use her powers for nefarious goods.
Yeah, and she meets her sister, another child who was part of the same experiments.
Yeah, was it 8? Yeah. So we don't know what's happened to 9 or 10.
No, that is the one thing that I sort of like, because I like the fact that they're saying there are more of these kids.
Yeah, and I feel like this episode 7 is gonna play into things more later on.
Yeah, it does feel like it's going to be
if
one of those things. It just comes at a weird time, and it doesn't super fit this season.
And it also does worry me if this is the direction that the show wants to end up going down.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will go the shit down. I have enough faith in them after these 2 seasons.
Yeah, I would hope so, because that's the thing. Like everything that's happening in Hawkins, where the show is majority set, is really interesting. As soon as we go away from there, I don't care. Like 11 going to visit her mum, I didn't really care about that stuff.
I liked it because I like the fact that in season 1, you know, Ellie's trying to learn emotion because she's such a fucked up kid, and I like the fact that you get that Elle is a kid and meets her mum and is just sort of distraught that she's tried to meet her for this long and her mum is just effectively a vegetable.
Yeah. One thing I did forget to mention of the things that I liked was, again, Winona Ryder does another good performance, and I really like how quickly she believes Will.
Yes, that is such a good thing for them to keep going.
Yeah, because there's a really annoying trope in this sort of thing where a kid or someone will see something and then they spend like in movies, they'll spend like an hour of the movie just trying to convince everyone else that what they've seen is real, and we as an audience know it is. So it's a really frustrating experience for us to watch the other characters finally catch up to the stage that we've been at for the last hour.
Yeah, yeah.
So I liked that they It
makes sense for her. It would be weirder for her character to not believe him after the shit that she went through in season 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Where she was effectively... everyone else thought she had gone mad.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I swear to you, there's like a face coming out of my wall, and my son keeps calling me on the phone, and the lights are sending me messages.
I also really like the scene where Nancy and Jonathan go to the conspiracy guy.
Yes.
And he just kind of manages to pick out their relationship and kind of cut to the core of it really quickly.
Yeah.
That was great. Sorry, I remembered a couple more things that I liked. Back to the stuff we didn't like.
Yeah.
I think a lot of season 7 was a huge misstep. Back to what I was saying earlier, the predictability of some of the things.
So Bob and Billy.
Yeah. So Bob, it was just so obvious. He's such a nice guy who is kind of not necessarily a weakling, but not necessarily the bravest.
He's like if the main characters grew up without the weird shit happening.
Right, exactly.
They would all be Bobs.
Yes, and he's so thankful to be with Joyce, and he's constantly like, who would have thought, back at high school that I would end up dating Joyce Byers? It's such a sweet thing. And it just becomes really, really obvious that he has to die.
Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious that he's going to die, and then the episode where he does die...
It's still sad.
It is really sad, because I really like Bob. And the way he dies is really sad. Effectively sacrificing himself to save Joyce and Will and Hopper.
Yeah, but the thing is, I hate how obvious it is that's going to happen, because when I say he has to die, it's only because that would be that character's trope, that stereotype.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that they didn't play with that more. Really, he didn't have to die, sort of thing. Yeah. I would have found it a lot more interesting to have kept him around, because at the moment, right, it feels like Joyce and Hopper are almost kind of being pushed together, and I think having Bob in the middle of that would have complicated that relationship.
I see. If Bob hadn't died, I don't think Joyce and Hopper would get together. But they will get together. Yeah,
but exactly. It would have been a more interesting journey to them getting together with Bob still there at the moment.
I just don't think they would have.
I mean,
but anyway. Yeah. So I agree with you, right? I don't like when things are this predictable.
Yeah.
That whole episode, that Bob's going to die the moment he's like, I've got this.
Yeah, I think for me it was it was when he's driving with Will in the car. I think the first half of the scene, he's talking about the experience he had with the clown.
Yeah.
From that moment on, I was like, this character is not going to last until next season.
Yeah. So not my issue, but I think it's interesting, and I might be wrong thinking this, but have we got to a point with media in general, like TV shows, films, where we have seen, I know that especially the Bob one, is a stereotype, but are we at the point where it's almost impossible to not fall into the tropes? Because I know you're saying it would be interesting to have Bob around, and it would.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the story that they've got laid out, which to me seems like a good story, season 1 and 2 are really good. The story as an overall is really good. So I wonder if it just, because I get that they should be trying to push things and do different things, which they do with Joyce, and that works.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if it makes it more difficult for them to the point where it would actually negatively affect the overall story. Because these things must be tropes for a reason, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason things become tropes, and that's because they tend to make better stories. And I know that that's not always true, but I do wonder. I think it's just interesting that perhaps we've just gotten to a point where these things are so obvious, but also that's just because we've seen so much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, potentially.
Like, I wonder if Bob wasn't going to die, there would obviously be some stuff that didn't happen, and then it wouldn't be obvious that Bob was going to die because he wouldn't die. And then I wonder if we just wouldn't notice. Like, I wonder how many things we don't notice because they're not in it. Do you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm sort of following you.
So it would have been easy this season for them to kill off one of the kids, right? And make that be a thing, which they didn't do.
Yeah, and I'm pleased they didn't.
Yeah, because that would be horrible and stupid, because we love those kids. They're great.
Yeah.
But, like, that, I could easily see a Stranger Things story of season 2 where one of the kids dies, right?
Yeah.
But because they don't do that, that's not obvious. But if one of the kids was going to die, the only way they could set it up would end up making that obvious that one of the kids was going to die. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
I think I might be going mad, Liam. Trying to figure this out in my head.
If they were going to kill a kid in season 2, Will would be the obvious choice, just because he's been through so much shit and he's got this link.
Yeah, there could be because he's the cleric, right?
Yeah.
That's what they always say. So there could be the obvious, to heal the party, the cleric sacrifices himself.
Yeah. Equally, I guess. So they were never ever going to kill Mike.
No. Or 11.
Or 11. Dustin, you could argue, well, he's like the funny sidekick, so you could argue that if he was to die, it would have been obvious. And then Lucas, you just go, well, of course they killed the black one first.
Jesus.
Well, that's that's a horror movie trope, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So I'm not, I'm just saying that I think I'm following what you're saying, and that whatever they would have done, you could have argued it was a trope.
Yeah, because it's almost exactly. That's what I'm wondering. I'm just wondering if so many tropes exist now that it is almost impossible to not fall into the tropes. Because effectively, they could do it by not killing anyone. But I think that would be shit. I wouldn't be scared of the Demogorgon or the Demigod dogs or the Mind Flayer if they didn't kill anything. Because I'd be like, they're a bit shit.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I'm not saying that we're wrong for thinking it's
but okay,
bad.
No,
That it's
here's the thing then, right?
Yeah.
It's potentially not necessarily the fact that they kill him, it's the fact that they telegraph his death so early on by setting up the character to be that trope. Whereas if the character himself had maybe been a bit different, it wouldn't have been so obvious that, one, he was going to die, and two, he was going to essentially die by sacrificing himself or doing something heroic or something out of character. And that's where the trope comes in. It's not that he's dead, it's that he has ticked off these very specific criteria.
Yeah, that's fair.
And equally, like I was saying with Billy, that I liked that storyline. It just became very obvious a little bit too early for me that, okay, we're going to have this split here. We need something for these kids and Steve to be against.
Yeah, so it's going to be Billy, who we've set up as the antagonist of both Steve and Max.
Exactly.
And Lucas.
Yeah. Which I kind of wanted them to just go a little bit more into that.
It felt like they were trying to be like, look, racism existed in these times.
Yeah.
This character's a racist, but they didn't quite want to go, Billy's a racist.
Yeah, they didn't want to draw that much attention to it, I don't think. But I kind of felt like it needed it.
Yeah, it did sort of feel that way. I did feel like either they were holding back the punch on that one.
Yeah.
Or just trying to be a bit too subtle to be like, we know, but also let's not focus on it too much. But yeah.
I also really hated the scene with Billy and his dad, because the way they set Billy up for the rest of this, all the stuff we see before that, I was watching that scene, I was like, there is no way this character wouldn't just punched a dad back or something. And again, I get what they're doing.
That's not true though.
No, but
I think that's actually more. I think what they showed was more true than what you think.
Well, no, but like again, it comes back into it. It becomes a trope then. Oh, the bully.
Oh yeah, no. 100%.
So that's why I'm like
the kid that gets beaten and then becomes a beater.
Yeah, so I'm just like, it would have been more interesting. I just think without that element, I don't think you need to explain why he's the way he is.
Yeah, I mean, I spent most of the season with Billy and Max, assuming that it was that the parents had either walked out or just were like neglectful in the fact that they don't care about their kids.
Which I think that's
was
enough
quite
that you
interesting.
need.
And then the fact that it became he's actually like abusing Billy. I was like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, so, it was unnecessary.
Yeah. Like even for Billy to be the way he was, like I know they would, like you said, they were setting it up for the like make him an antagonist sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think you needed that character to be as much of a dick as he is.
No.
He was too obviously the baddie. Like the number of times he did something so dickheaded that you were like I like when a character's a bit more grey and like just because his dad abuses him, what he is doing is so fucked up that it doesn't. Like I felt I don't want someone to get beaten, but also he's such a dickhead about everything that he's the baddie. So when the baddie has bad stuff happen to him, you're not like, oh, the poor guy. You're like, God, he keeps trying to hit Max. Maybe he should stop that.
Yeah, exactly. And I honestly just didn't think you needed that scene. I
don't think you did. Yeah,
there was enough established. You could read into it enough of why he's a dick without having that scene also in there.
Yeah, yeah.
I only really have two other like issues that I want to talk about, and one isn't necessarily something that happens within the show itself from a narrative perspective.
Do you want to do that as the second point then?
Yeah. So the first point, this is something that I've seen a lot of people whinging about on Twitter, and I want to kind of argue against that. I saw a lot of negativity around the scene where Elle sees Max with Mike on the skateboard.
Yep.
And Elle does her little telekinesis stuff and makes Max fall off the skateboard. And there was a huge backlash to that on Twitter of being like, oh, do we have to go down this female jealousy route?
Yep.
I personally feel like it's entirely believable that these kids are 12, 13?
Yep.
I did not see that as like a out of character thing, especially for someone like 11 who has a very sheltered upbringing so far and is still trying to figure out just the way things work, to see that and react in the way she did. It would have been, I think, weirder for her to see that and just go, that's normal.
Yeah, because I think the unfortunate part of it isn't necessarily what their intention was, right? But perhaps the way that's done is a bit, because that does sort of lead into the idea of it being female jealousy, in the fact that it's the love interest of the main character seeing said main character with another girl and assuming that and it's very obvious that she assumes there is something romantic with air quotes going on. And I think the way Elle is, that would have worked just as easily if she saw Max like threatening the friendship she has.
Yeah,
because you don't need the romance element for these kids. Like I love it. I love that Elle and Mike are obviously like.
Oh, that is something that I wanted to say I liked, was the whole snow dance at the end. That was just brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. That whole scene is so good.
From Dustin showing up with Steve in the car, it was just...
And then getting to dance with Nancy.
Yeah, that was the only bit that I...
Oh yeah, but you've got a problem. Whatever, we're going to get distracted. Don't talk about this now. You're going to get distracted.
Oh,
let's deal with I'm distracted now. Let's deal with the big issue though. Because you're going to talk about how you feel sorry for a kid for dancing with a hot girl. Let's talk about the fact that you're trying to...
Yeah, a pity dance.
Yeah, that's fine. Right.
No, it's not.
I think it would have worked better or it could have worked just as well if Elle felt like her friendship with the group was being threatened. That gets the same message across. Not necessarily with
Mike, just Mike.
Not even just Mike. I think you could have had a scene where she sees the gang together.
Yeah.
She's like, there's someone else who it looks like is filling my role, because that's the same story that you're getting from Mike's side, where he's like, I don't want to replace Elle.
Yeah.
That's not how this friendship group works. So like, it almost feels, it's almost weirder that it did take that romantic context at that point, even though there is that sort of romance between Mike and Elle.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. So I'm not saying that your point is wrong.
No.
I'm just saying, I can see the argument.
Yeah, to me, I just feel like the way that Elle reacted in that situation, I felt was believable for that character to react in that way. And I think, what I'm seeing on Twitter, the alternative wouldn't have been believable for the character to react like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, do you
in
want
that specific context, that is the way it works.
Yeah, do you essentially want to break how this character would naturally react because you're trying to make a point about like female jealousy, or do you just want the character to react how they would? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, but then that I think would lead into my thing of do the scene differently.
Yeah.
Like set it up because that's the thing is whilst I 100% agree with what you're saying, that does make sense for Elle. Elle would not react any other way in that scene. It isn't the characters setting up that scene. It is a team of directors and producers who have said, let's have this specific type of scene. So I can see the problem with it, but I don't think it's as... I've not seen what the reaction's like, so I'm just hearing it from you.
Yeah.
So if it is, totally out of proportion, which it is sort of sounding like, I think people are being a bit over the top.
Yeah, there's also been a bit of a backlash to something that I actually do agree with.
Yes, I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I assume I know.
So I don't think you watched this, but there is a show called Beyond Stranger Things.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Which is kind of like how Chris Hardwick did the Talking Dead.
And you got the Throne card. What's the Throne one?
There's that. So this is actually hosted by Jim Rash, which is a weird choice for host, but it works. And there is an episode where they were talking about the snow dance scene. Oh, let's talk about that very quickly before we get into the actual like weighty topic, if you will. Loved what happened with Lucas and Max in that scene, which is one of the things we're going to talk about. Loved what happened with Mike and Elle in that scene. Will, I thought it was okay. Like it was an okay sort of resolution.
Yeah, what does he end up doing?
A girl comes over and says like, "Oh, zombie boy, do you want to dance?"
Oh yeah, so it's like the whole maybe zombie boy isn't as insulting as
yeah, which was okay, but fine. And then you got Dustin, and my heart just broke for Dustin. It really did. And then you had like Nancy come over, and I get it, I do. I don't. A lot of people felt like it was good, and I'm still like, if anything, it breaks my heart more. Because it is just a pity dance, and while he is happy about that, it is still really tragic.
No, but I think you're looking at it the wrong way. Because I don't think for it to be a pity dance, right? That implies that Nancy is just doing it because she's like, look at this poor lonely kid. I'm going to dance with him to make him feel better.
Yeah,
right?
She still has that moment where she's like, "You were my favourite of Mike's friends."
That bit is a bit weird. The bit that I think makes it not a pity dance is the fact that I think she's doing it to make the other girls jealous. Like she's doing the whole like, well, I know that girl over there, the one that turned Dustin down, is going to see Dustin dancing with a older girl who's
arrogant.
What?
Huh?
What?
Whatever.
Anyway, dancing with an older girl.
Yeah.
And
older, attractive girl.
Yeah.
Arrogant.
Why arrogant?
Bit full of herself, isn't she? Oh, look at me. I'm so attractive and old.
Sure.
These other girls are going to be so jealous of Dustin dancing with me.
No, but what it will do is make the other girls not necessarily jealous, but like go, wait a minute, how is Dustin getting this girl to dance with him?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a pity dance. I think it's a move to be like, Dustin is cool. This will help people see that.
Maybe.
So I think I get why you read it that way, because that is the way me and you would react if someone tried to do that to us, is we would be very negative about the whole thing and be like, I don't want to do this, you're just doing it as a pity thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that's probably, tarnished by our own views.
Yeah. But yeah, so talking about the scene, they discussed this scene on Beyond Stranger Things.
Yes.
And basically, the actress that played Max, which is Sadie Sink, was saying it was her, the Duffer brothers, and I think the actor that played Lucas, they were talking about the kissing scene, right? And how so Mike and Elle, I think, went first, and they got like a round of applause afterwards. And then the next day, one of the Duffer brothers said to Sadie, "Oh, are you ready for your kissing scene with Lucas?" And Sadie was like, "That's not in the script." And then on this Beyond Stranger Things episode, the Duffer brother, I can't remember which one it was like, because you reacted so negatively to me saying, "Are you ready for your kissing scene?" I had to put it in there. Yeah. Which then takes on this thing of where it is an adult forcing a young teenager to do something because the adult, who is also in a position of power and authority, has seen that it makes that child uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that is hugely problematic.
Yeah, 100%.
What's weird, I find, is that the scene plays so well that I almost am surprised that it wasn't scripted that way.
Yeah.
Because it is just such a natural conclusion to their storyline.
Yeah.
But yeah, haven't quite kind of figured out how I feel about that at the moment, that like revelation. Because it makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think it's definitely hugely problematic.
Yeah.
I think it's, just... I can see how someone fucks up like that. As someone who volunteers at a youth group, you do become friends with these people.
That's kind of, I think...
The trick is to remember that whilst you can be their friend to an extent, you are still the adult in the situation.
Exactly.
And it feels like they probably forgot that.
Yeah, like trying to play devil's advocate, right? And look at, okay, what is a situation where this could happen? You've probably worked with these kids for weeks, if not months.
Yeah.
You probably have a rapport with them. And you probably, I think anytime as an adult you deal with kids, you have certain barriers up to protect the kid.
Yeah.
And it's possible that just through like familiarity or whatever, that those barriers come down and you can sort of interact with the kid on their level, on like a friendship level.
Yeah.
But I think it's easy to forget that position of power that you were in when you have that position.
Yeah, I mean, even then, what we're saying, both of us are saying, it does. Even with the understanding of how someone fucks up like that, I could never see how you get to that point in it, because
it's really
I don't know
weird,
how alarm bells weren't ringing the moment his brain went, oh, she's uncomfortable doing that. I'll do a funny joke where I say, oh, are you ready for the kissing scene? And then instead of that funny joke ending with, I'm just joking, don't worry about it, obviously, or not.
Then
it's not in the
I'm
script.
going to make
it's
you
somehow,
do this.
it somehow escalates, because that's not a prank at that point.
No.
If I say to you, Liam, stick your hand in this jar of slugs, and you're like, I don't want to, because this jar of slugs is disgusting. And I'm like, Liam, don't you remember we agreed you would? And you were like, oh, did I?
Yeah.
The funny part of that is when I go, no, I'm just kidding, Liam. Don't put your hand in this jar of slugs. It's not funny. It becomes mean if I then just go, no, stick your hand in the jar of slugs.
Yeah, it's very... Oh, that becomes very bullying then. It's like, right, what can I make this person do?
There's not a funny joke. What's the funny joke? What's the punchline to the end of that joke where he then goes, haha, you just kissed that boy?
Yeah. And, okay, it could just be that the way they presented it on this show was maybe wrong, in that potentially she reacted that way. He was like, oh, no, this would be funny. Then he went away, thought about it, and was like, oh, actually, this is like the perfect way to end this storyline for those characters. And maybe that kind of part of it was missed out on the discussion they were having.
Yeah,
possibly. But that is also really reaching to try and excuse something that you shouldn't really have to excuse.
No, it shouldn't have happened.
No.
Because it's also, I think me and you, because we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
And I believe we both, and Dan, who we were also talking to, sort of came to the conclusion that actually you didn't, whilst the kiss worked in that scene, you
didn't need it. No.
They are young enough kids that I don't need to see them kissing to be like, oh, he got the girl. Like, a hug is enough.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
If two kids that age are hugging, I'm like, oh my god, it's young love.
Even holding hands.
Yeah, I mean, literally a boy touching a girl anywhere.
Yeah,
that sounds
like at any age is impressive to me.
If he can get over the cooties.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. So it's weird, right? Because I kind of, in some respects, I have to like the Duffer Brothers because they've given me this great show. But then something like this happens, and you're just like, and especially with, look at the bigger picture of what is currently going on with like the entertainment industry and Hollywood and stuff. It just doesn't quite sit right.
No, and we're not implying that he's sexually abusing anyone.
No. It's just.
But I know what you mean. I just thought we'd better say that out loud.
Yeah, it's an example of a misuse of power.
Yeah.
I
agree.
And I just can't quite figure out how that makes me feel about the show overall. That's where I kind of sit with that at the moment. Like I enjoyed the show, don't get me wrong, but I kind of have issues with at least one of the creators now.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And I always do, like we've had lots of disagreements about this in the past. I always try and separate art from artist. But this is kind of the first time where I'm struggling with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's see how good season 3 is.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. If it's good enough, you'll forgive them.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Jeffries has a whole bit about how successful do you have to be to get away with abusing a child, and then starts quoting things like Charles Chaplin, Roman Polanski, Woody Allen. Yep. Maybe the Duffer Brothers could be added into that.
Jesus. We are not saying that they abused a child.
No, not in that respect.
It's not our place to legally say that.
No, we had some correspondence about Stranger Things.
Oh, did we, Liam?
Kat emailed us.
What did she say?
Notice how I've just dug us out of this hole brilliantly.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
It's all right. She said, here are my thoughts on Stranger Things 2.
You did dig the hole.
Here are my thoughts on Stranger Things 2.
Yeah.
Hopper is bae, whatever that means. I think that's something that the kids are saying now, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's it mean?
He's
bae, B-A-E.
It's like I think it's like baby, but like in a he's not like a baby, but in like a baby.
Right. Okay.
I think it's like your boyfriend is your bae.
Okay, so she's saying Hopper
so
is
she's
her
saying
boyfriend.
She would date Hopper over you.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved Hopper as Eleven's father figure, which, I think we said that relationship did work well.
Yep.
Noel Schnapp was amazing and deserves all the awards. Oh, she's just repeating stuff we've said now.
Come on, Kat. The original.
I hated episode 7. Felt like a different show. Dragged and made it feel disjointed. Yeah, we said that. Here we go.
Did you not preemptively tell Kat all the stuff we'd be talking about, Liam?
Well, I didn't know what we'd be talking about, did I?
Wow. It's all scripted.
This is a new point. Some awesome editing. Don't care how cheesy it is. The way the camera slowly turned upside down when Hopper climbs into the upside down was so good. Plus the ending when the school does the same.
Yeah.
Actually,
that is a good point. We didn't talk about that, and I love that ending.
Yeah, okay. I agree. Those two examples that she used were great. They also did that technique, I think, at least another 2 times where it didn't feel quite as necessary or quite as good. So like those 2 times she pointed out, I agree, I liked. There was another 2 times where I kind of rolled my eyes and was like, oh, we're doing that again, are we?
What a surprise. Liam doesn't like something.
She said, overall the season was awesome and I cannot wait for more. Did I mention Hopper is bae?
You did.
She did. We also had some tweets about Stranger Things.
Oh, what did they say?
Marcus, at the Marco guy, said, it was fantastic. Sure, episode 7 was a bit out of place, but overall it was a pretty fantastic season.
Yep.
And then I kind of just was saying I didn't like episode 7, and he said, I didn't hate it, just thought it was a weird departure from the rest of the show. Then Atlantic Screen Connection chimed in, saying, didn't care for Lost Sister either, which was the name of episode 7.
Can we stop adding emotion to people when they're tweeting you?
What do you mean?
You said that very aggressively.
Although it felt like a tribute to the Runaways, probably wasn't. I didn't care about those characters.
I want there to be, just sidetrack here, I want there to be a Runaways TV show, because the Runaways is one of my favourite things.
Okay, I don't know what it is. Is it comics?
I'm assuming they're talking about the Runaways comics, because that's what that felt like. Okay. But maybe not. If it's something else, then we have differing opinions. But just side note, I want there to be a Runaways comic TV show.
Yeah. Also, they said, I also feel like not much happened. Sure, the characters evolve. The focus on Will is great. Yet Mike's arc is basically, will he kiss 11? Which, that's another point, right? That we didn't mention is, like I said, as much as I didn't really know what to do with 11, they also kind of, it felt like both 11 and Mike were kind of in limbo for a lot of this season. Because
yeah, I think because their characters are tied together so
exactly
much that it's when 11 doesn't have anything to do, what do you do with Mike?
Yeah, exactly. And I know, like, when kind of watching this Beyond Stranger Things, they were saying that the first part of the season, they basically referred to Mike as emo Mike, because all he was doing was just being sad. And you only really see Mike start becoming more like Mike when he realizes that something's going on with Will.
Yeah.
And they were saying a part of that is basically Mike identifies himself now, especially after the last season, as someone that he needs to be needed by others. So in the first season, he needed to be needed by 11, and that gave him purpose. And once he saw that Will needed him, that gave him purpose again in this season. And I don't want him to be boiled down to just that. I think there's more to be done with him than just that.
But that in itself could be interesting if they make it more of a point, but actually a point. So instead of just not doing anything with him, make it a point that he's doing that.
Yeah.
Because that's fine them saying that, but I didn't get that from this season. But now that you've told me that, I think that could be quite interesting with the whole, because the way his family structure is.
Yeah.
I can see how a kid can become like that when you've got Nancy, the sort of perfect daughter. If I remember rightly from season 1, everyone's sort of Nancy's the smart one, right?
Yeah, basically.
And it's sort of like got that air of they care about Mike, but they sort of don't.
Yeah. Well, like I said, all these kids are basically like outcasts, right? All of the main four.
Yeah.
So when you have like Nancy being the perfect one, and you got Mike who
plays Dungeons and Dragons like a loser.
Exactly. Atlantic Screen Connection said that Steve getting bullied by Billy. Why? Billy is as useless as they come, in my opinion. Are they setting him up for something bigger? Perhaps. We had Chelsea tweeted us saying, darker than season 1 for sure, way more horror than adventure, but overall I loved it. Didn't have the issues most people did with the sister episode. Loved Steve this season when I didn't really like him last season the way my friends did.
Yep.
And Atlantic Screen Connection piped in again saying, I really like Steve, also it's Billy that's the issue.
Can you also stop saying piped in and like you're making it sound like you don't want Atlantic Screen Connection to talk to us?
No, I did. And also they said they didn't like the scene where Billy confronts Steve. No, the scene where he flirts with the mum.
Which is your favourite scene of the entire season.
They said, I don't know about that scene. He just had his confidence squeezed out of him by his dad, and he regains it immediately. Which, I get where they're coming from with that criticism, but I'm willing to overlook it because that scene was so damn good.
Yeah.
Lee tweeted us saying, outside a good season for Steve and some adorable crushes, this was pretty much the same. Lost interest by the end as it lost focus. And the show also didn't deserve Sean Astin and took the safe road in almost all cases. Still, can't fault that production design. What a pretty time it was. I have to admit, like the big climax with 11 shutting the gate, I kind of was a little bit underwhelmed by it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it so long as it is setting up stuff, which it looks like it is for the next few seasons. Because with that final scene, like that, the finale of it is kind of shit. Until you see that they've clearly pissed off the
Mind Flayer.
And I don't think they've dealt with it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm sort of hopeful that it's like, instead of them focusing on just one season, it's them being like, we've got another season.
Yeah, I think they've definitely said they want to do season 4. And I think I read somewhere them saying they would be open to potentially a season 5, but not much beyond that because they kind of,
I want it to have a definite end.
Yeah.
I much prefer when a show knows it's got that limit, so it knows to round shit off.
Yeah, they're basically saying they need to end it before the kids get too old.
And then 100% in 10 years they're going to do Stranger Things 2.0.
Oh yeah, the high school reunion.
Yeah, they'll do an It.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
What would you give the show out of 5, or the season of the show?
I would give Stranger Things 2 I think it's a 4 out of 5.
I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I wanted to give it a 4.5, but I don't think I can.
I think season 1 maybe would have got a 4.5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But the season 2 is a solid 4.
Yeah, which is good. It's great. I think everyone should go watch it, and if they haven't seen season 1, go watch both. Cause
yeah, I'm kind of tempted. Like when I go back home for Christmas, my mum likes to watch a show together. And I think this might be the show that I suggest we watch this year.
Has she ever watched Stranger Things?
No.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you should do that.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then you should start flicking the lights on and off.
Yeah, she'd appreciate that.
And be like, Mummy, I'm trapped in the Upside Down.
Don't know if she'd appreciate that.
I'd appreciate if you actually would get stuck in the Upside Down, because then you'd have a really cool catching up with.
I mean, it took them like a month to find him or something.
Oh, we pretty much had a month between this episode and the last one.
Next time on Nerd.
Yeah, we're not a fucking TV show, mate. Talk normally.
Talk how I want, thank you very much. It's our anniversary special. 2 years of doing this shit.
Yay.
We're going to do something really special for it. Last year, the special thing we did was erotic fan fiction. We can't top that.
We're never going to top that.
No, like, Amanda actually wrote erotic fan fiction about us, and that was just beautiful.
Tom wrote a really good one.
No, he didn't. Tom found a really good one.
Write a really good one.
Yeah. I mean, let's credit where credit's due. Amanda wrote one. Tom found one.
That's fair.
But this year, we are doing something different, aren't we?
Yes, Liam. Everyone knows...
Alright, here we go.
Liam.
Yeah.
The second anniversary...
Yeah.
...is the cotton anniversary in
the
traditional theme. Of course, in the modern theme, it's China. I assume they're talking about the crockery and not the country, because I don't know how you give someone the gift of China. The colour, of course, is red. The gemstone is garnet, or the alternate stone is rose quartz. And the anniversary gift suggestions, I should click here.
So this is what people should be giving us.
Oh, no, sorry, I'm not clicking on that link. I just read it out.
Okay. So what we're doing...
Yep.
We're going to write a letter to each other to read out on the show.
Yep.
And then we're going to write another letter to ourselves to be read out in 5 years' time.
We're not getting to 5 years.
What do you mean we're not getting to 5 years?
We're getting to 20.
Yeah, that would be year 7 by the time we get around to reading it.
That's true, that's a good point.
So, optimistic, but I'm just thinking if we'd have done this, like even last year, how funny your letter would be.
Yeah, that would have been good.
So, we missed a trick there, but who
knows?
knows?
You never know, Liam. Maybe by then you'll have come out.
Yeah, maybe, or something else could have happened.
What if one of us dies?
It's going to be a real sad episode.
Yeah, like, if one of us dies, do we have to come back in 5 years and read their letter?
Well, I mean, what I've always thought is if you die, I'm just going to get someone to replace you and carry the show on.
And then would they
it's like
read
an
the letter
Ellie
I sent
2.0. Yeah. So they would read it, and we just kind of be like, "Huh, oh, that's sad," and then we just carry on, business as normal.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right, listeners, you can get involved. You can either write us a letter to read on the show, or write us a letter to read in 5 years' time. I say letter, email us. Let's not be silly.
Don't write us a letter. If you're going to email us one that is to be read in 5 years...
Put it in the subject.
Subject.
We don't want to read it by accident.
Just all capitals, 5 years.
Yeah.
And then, like, your name or something so we can differentiate it. Because that way, we can put it in a folder on the email and not read it.
Exactly. And that's the key, I think.
Because if we read it...
It just won't be as funny.
It.
Yeah. So yeah, please get involved. We think it could be quite funny.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't know what the fuck I'm going to write.
Oh no, I haven't figured that bit out yet either. But also, what do you think about Ellie's big news? What do you think about our announcement? Well, your announcement, I guess.
Yeah, why are you trying to steal it, buddy?
Well, I was going to say, what do you think about our big change? But then I just thought,
okay,
it's not that big, is it? Because you've always been that way. It's
exactly. We just didn't realise.
Exactly. How do they do that?
Oh, you can email us at nerdonnerd. Actually, is it Nerd on Nerd Pod? I've sort of forgotten the email. We've not done this for so long.
It's Nerd on Nerd Pod, I believe.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I feel like it's been years.
Yeah, well, you were busy.
Nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. That's the email. You can tweet us at nerdonnerd, not pod, at nerdonnerd.
Yes, well done.
You can go to, we are on Facebook. Facebook.com/Nerd on Nerd Pod with dashes? Without dashes.
Without. Email is definitely nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. I just checked.
Cool. Yeah. Facebook.com/Nerdcats is a page. Tweet, just message them. Facebook.com/Nerdcats. They're an internet company in Dhaka, Bangladesh. So
ignore all that. It's not important.
Their banner image is just says "We're back, bitch."
Wow.
They've got like 2 posts.
What's our Facebook?
I don't know. I've sort of got distracted by Nerdcats.
I think ours is like Nerd on Nerd Pod.
I don't think Nerdcats is about cats. I'm trying to find out.
Ours is Nerd on Nerd Pod, all one word.
Thank you, Liam.
We've got a YouTube. What I've decided to do with that is basically nothing.
Okay, cool. We have a YouTube. There's nothing on it.
I'm going to relaunch it in the new year.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is spend between now and then basically... So what I had been working on up until all the issues we had was I was redoing all of our old videos. I've now got to redo all of the stuff that I redid.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to launch it in the new year basically because fuck it.
Cool. You can also rate and review us on iTunes.
Yeah, no reviews have been left since we last recorded. I checked.
You can go on our SoundCloud and leave comments on there. That's the thing.
Yeah, Lee did that in the past, and I believe we read those comments out. So
I think so.
You could do that, and maybe... Here's the thing, right? You can kind of tweet us potentially with the hope that we'll talk about you and, you know, kind of confirm your existence, which is nice, because how do you know you exist unless people talk about you, right?
Oh, shit, what if we don't exist?
Well, we do, because we talk about us a lot.
Okay.
You could also just email us, because that's nice. right? It's a nice thing to do. It makes us happy.
Don't tweet us the letters, because whilst Twitter are increasing their character limit, I don't think that's long enough for a letter.
Also, it's going to be really hard to find in 5 years' time.
Yeah, that would be a bloody nightmare.
So, email the letters, definitely. But also just tweet us. Like, your
We're going
thoughts.
off course. I'm just going to wrap it up. Any final thoughts, Liam? Oh my god, what am I doing? That time I legitimately forgot. Oh, Liam. Liam.
Yeah.
I'm a bloody idiot.
I know.
Is what I am. Jesus.
I know.
You thought I was doing it as a joke last week, but I did actually nearly forget, so when you brought it up, I was so relieved.
Yeah.
Liam.
Yes.
I didn't update it when you told me the number last time.
Brilliant.
So the last time I've got it written down is 1103.
Okay.
What are you on now?
1089. We should explain this a bit for anyone who maybe is a first-time listener.
Liam's shit.
There we go. Thanks for listening to Nerd on Nerd. Bye.
Bye.
And music.